Whew. Oh, I feel good. It's been a long day. Jesse, you don't even got his mic or anything on.
I have a slight change on one of mine, but it's just from director to producer. It was apparently the Aquaman 2 producer. Feels like I'm touching it, but
Both of all of the above.
That's my fucking face. Why?
move closer.
All right. Let's see here. Good God. Notes. Got the notes.
I'm surprised that whole fucking episode you guys didn't talk about the Browns or the fucking Titans or like
Their whole thing is just fantasy. It's
Yeah.
not. They don't do any like actual football stuff, or they try not to.
What do they have? Don't they have enough people? What do they have you on for?
well that we
Oh, stop being so salty about it.
No, I'm just
I'm getting
wondering.
my free donuts.
I'm just wondering what's going on. They got full seats.
No,
I know the
'cause
one
we were-
episode I watched, Bo had to sit out because they had too many
Bo had to
people.
sit this one out
So
too.
Bo wasn't
So
there.
Bo's the weakest
He
link.
called in. Yeah.
Bo wasn't there.
Apparently Richie's the
and Ben
weakest
wasn't there. And then they were just like, we got an extra seat. I know you're going to shoot. We're going to go practice whenever you play. So we
I
could all go
gotcha.
together. I was like, yeah, I'll do it.
I was just curious because I watched the one and I know Bo wasn't on it, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
I
Yeah.
think
fucking
Bo
show.
works a ton, so
So-
he can't do every episode.
They have people just fill in.
Yeah.
Dude's
I
got the
gotcha.
nuttiest laugh I've ever heard in my life.
Dude,
He's a goober.
Ken's laugh is so fucking funny.
Is that Kent?
It's
No,
Ken's laugh.
Bo's.
No, the
Bo was on.
like the
Oh, I'm thinking
wheeziness.
I can't do Bo's, but no, it's like when Bo was on the phone, it was like, like oh,
Yeah, Ken's is the one that gets me because it's just like
I got to ask Ashley who she said. She said Bo reminded her of a short, thin version of somebody.
he ain't that thin, so there
Well,
must be
thinner. Shorter, thinner version of. I got to ask
Bo's a
who it
Oompa
was.
Loompa.
the Hawaiian from Shallow Hal
Jesus.
sitting on the bench.
Good God. Thanks for tuning in, Bo. Appreciate the support.
Every once in a while, I'll get a text and just be like, "You fucker."
It's fantastic.
Go, 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 go.
What's going on, y'all? You're tuning in to the highest rated, most listened to podcast to ever grace the airwaves, and you're a better
almost there.
person for listening to
Don't
us.
stop short.
All right, maybe not, but you're really going to enjoy it anyways. This is Made to Motivate podcast, and we'll be talking social media hot topics, pop culture news, the greatest in movies and music, and all things sports. Make sure you're following us on social media at Made to Motivate podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and you can watch the show on our YouTube. Thanks for tuning in, and with that being said, let's get this show started. What's going on, y'all? This is Made to Motivate podcast, season 4, episode 26. This is your host, Ryan Weiss. I'm joined, as always, by Jesse Young from Sports Illustrated.
What's going on?
How's it going, sir?
It's going.
Christopher, the film freak Kessinger.
Are we live?
Kessinger, we're live on the pre-record.
What's up?
How's it going?
Pretty good, man. Fucking exhausted from this weekend, but
Yeah.
we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it. It has been a long, very long Monday today.
Yeah.
What's new and exciting, Jesse? You seem super jazzed up over
Dude,
there. What's
so-
going on?
I painted my daughter's room today, and my wife was not happy with how it turned out because there's some paint on the trim.
Did you tape?
No.
I don't tape either.
So, all right. So
Sex your work.
And you
So-
could get some trim.
I painted our
Not
bathroom.
anymore.
I painted our bathroom a few months back,
Yeah.
and I did tape,
Yeah.
but I either had shitty tape or I left the tape on like a day too long because I taped it before I
It
actually got to
peels.
painting, and they got paint on the trim. So
Mhm.
she was like, I need you to get somebody that's going to paint better. Okay,
Dang.
whatever. So her sister and her brother-in-law came over today. They do like construction work and
Yeah.
painting and shit like that for like work. So she was like, I trust them to do it. Okay, I'll do it with them.
Yeah.
So they came over and we're getting ready. We're about to tape. And Jay's like, we don't got to tape. He goes, just don't get close to it. And then we just touch it up. It's not a
Yeah.
big deal. So I'm like, okay.
Cool.
I was told that I'm to trust you. So I did that. And then, of course, she comes in and she's like, I love the color. And then she comes in and she's like, there's a spot there. There's a spot there. There's a spot there. Mind you, this is called barely teal. It's almost white. The room was white before.
And she could still
So it's
see
not
it.
like you can see it. Like, I don't know how the fuck she sees it. Pregnancy eyes or something.
Yep. Pregnancy vision, bro.
So that got me super frustrated. And then I told her, I'm like, you need to like relax and be a little optimistic. And
Yeah.
then that wasn't the right thing to say. So
Oh, yeah.
so I was late to the podcast.
Yep. Yikes.
We are actually recording this at 11 o'clock at night. Thanks
That's
a lot,
right.
Jesse.
That's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't get yelled at, but it was very much of a
stern talking.
I think that I'm allowed to be frustrated. I'm the one with all the hormones right now. And then, so.
What a great episode for her to tune in on tonight.
You should have told her if you want it done right, you should have done it yourself.
So long story short, I did not say that. I said something kind of like that. I was like, you could do this, but then it turned into she can't paint because of the baby, which I guess is valid, but
Porch is comfortable to sleep on.
yeah. So long story short, I'm going to be, I do have a couch on it right now.
I was gonna say, you might not want to get rid of that couch yet. You might need to sleep on it.
But yeah, so I have to tape and repaint. So I'm going to fix the room.
What color is the trim?
White.
So just paint the trim white. You
I'm
don't
going to paint the trim white.
Just paint the trim touch up.
I got to get white
Do
paint.
everything. Yeah, but you don't have to redo everything.
I'm going to fucking, well, there's some spots that were missed that I got to go over. Apparently.
It was
Apparently.
Oh boy.
It was spots.
It's going to be hard for me to fucking see them. I need to go through with Post-it notes and just mark them.
You do realize the baby's not going to be able to tell.
Dude, you're preaching to the choir.
Wakes up in the middle like,
That fucking spot's giving me
She better not. Oh my God. Could you imagine? My daughter just came out that like prissy, like,
excuse me,
there's
sir.
a fucking spot over here. You're fucking 3. Like,
you're 3, shut up.
Fuck.
I got to build the crib. Like, I was thinking I'm going to like wake up tomorrow, build the crib. We're
Nope.
good to go.
Got paint all over again.
Gonna paint all over again.
Go back to bed before I tell you about Santa.
Go back to work in 2 weeks. That's something I'm not looking forward to.
Oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
Sorry, that just came out.
Yeah, great day.
Other than that, though, it's all the
Was your
same.
weekend any better?
No.
How was mini golf?
It was fucking bad. You fucking dick. You knew this
I
already.
loved where that was transitioning into.
It was not fucking good. Okay. I fucking sucked. I shot worse than I've ever shot at this fucking course. Does Dee Dee listen to the show?
No.
Good, because fucking Dee Dee's supposed to be like awful at mini golf. She comes out slaying dragons.
She played you.
I told them, I'm like, you guys are fucking shaving points over here. This is a fucking shark bullshit.
You might want to check Chris's scorecard.
She was hitting the fucking
she
shots.
Finished with the 151 still.
Yikes. I mean, we said 165, I think.
Yeah.
So everyone's playing better.
Yeah.
Almost.
We'll see. We'll see what
play
that
his
line
worst
is.
game of all the practices, and then he fucking shits the bed.
We'll see what that line is when it ends.
Christopher, what is new with you? Anything better than Jesse? Can you really top that?
Wait, real quick. I have a mini golf question.
Okay.
Let's say that somebody fucks up their scheduling. Do I get to bump up?
If you're
They're
17,
kicked out. I'm
So-
17 and somebody fucks up their scheduling for round 2.
Oh,
And
like
you
they
boot
can't,
'em?
they can't play.
Yeah, let me get in there.
We've never really had anything like that. Yeah, I guess if they can't play within a week, we would go to the next person, whoever's like 17th.
Fuck
And we
yeah,
would say,
baby.
hey, if you want it, it's yours. If they don't want it, 18th, and so on and so forth.
I think that makes sense because why make it a 15? Like fill that spot.
Yeah.
With the next best person.
Yeah, I'd probably just say if they can't do it in a week, then you're out.
I'm gonna pull a fucking Giants 2008, I think, come in off the wild card, go in and slay the Giant.
Yep. Yeah. That was the year they thought Dallas would face the Patriots. That didn't happen.
Jeez.
But yeah, just a busy weekend. As Jesse alluded to, the tournament kicked off on Friday night. We had 5 players that night. We had 13 on Saturday, and then we still have another 15 to go over the next 4 or 5 days. So yeah, it's in full swing. First round is always the busiest, obviously. And besides that, I had 3 films I had to review this weekend. So I was playing catch up yesterday during a doubleheader, 2 hours a piece. Fuck. One was good, one was bad. We'll talk about it a little later.
Both were bad.
Jesse says both were bad.
You did 3 though.
I'm
Yeah.
not the film freak.
One was good. One was
I did
bad,
one on
was-
Thursday,
okay.
which was Jungle Cruise. Jungle Cruise,
Got
I'll
it.
go ahead and say it was good. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There's problems to it, but it's an exhilarating rush. It's
Got it.
basically like the ride
Yeah.
itself.
Cool.
And The Rock's charisma is on full display, and Emily Blunt's sexy as hell. So
Standard.
Yeah.
Pretty standard stuff.
that's it, though.
Cool. What
about you?
Nothing too exciting. The usual. Came out and watched mini golf. Didn't get to watch Jesse shit the bed.
You illegally brought ice cream onto the course.
I did not.
You
I
did.
no
He
such
should be
thing.
disqualified.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly.
Disrespecting the course?
That's not a league rule. That's a potential course rule.
I've got 4 people in that last group that saw the same thing.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Dude.
Hey, for the record,
That's like a 10-stroke penalty.
let's back this up for 1 second. For the record, I approached Chris and I said, hey, I want ice cream, but it says you can't. He's like, oh, it'll be fine. They won't care. Just tell Barb I said it was all right. Quote unquote.
You asked me that Friday night.
Quote unquote.
This was Saturday night. That's a different night.
Okay.
Yeah, this wasn't during the day when it was the most busy. You're influencing the young minds of people.
We snuck it around.
The youth of America were there, mini golfing.
Hey, you know what?
And they were saying, "Look at this guy from Made to Motivate. Fuck the rules.
I don't know how to read.
They're over there pissing in the holes and stuff. It's all your fault."
And that's another thing. I'm going to come to Jesse's defense here a little bit with his game. So basically, their 2-person group, we needed the full 2 hours because there was a group in front of us. Literally, it took 10 minutes to finish every hole.
3 groups in front of us because there were 2 groups that were slow as fuck in front of them too.
Yeah. So when you have that kind of like pacing in between each game, there's really nothing to do, about that. That's another totally different problem.
Yeah.
So
I maybe more of our focus should be on shitty players and not me eating ice cream on the course. Okay.
How am I supposed to chip with that going on, Doug?
Hit your shot, Mr. Gilmore.
Yeah. Anyhow, I had some ice cream on the course. Okay. Sue me.
What'd you have?
We could.
Maybe they will.
There's a sign there.
And you know what? Maybe I'll fucking shit all over their course on the podcast.
And you wanted to own a
You
course.
get stung when you were eating that fucking ice cream.
Yeah, you did.
Hope you get stung.
Wow.
This guy wanted to own a course, and he doesn't even respect the courses he plays on.
It's funny you say that. He only brings that up every 10 minutes. Thanks.
Hey, you know what? If I own a course someday, you can have ice cream on it.
Good.
So there.
Good. You're going to be power washing for weeks.
I'm going to shit on your course.
You're going to have a bee nest all over the course.
Jeez.
I'm coming there. I'm going to shit
Bee-a-palooza.
my back.
They should embrace the ice cream. It's right there.
Yeah. New Baltimore.
I did nothing else exciting though. It's been busy. So I play Friday. Hopefully I don't shit the bed. I'm quite nervous. I'm not gonna lie.
All this you're talking, you better be careful.
Hey, look, I did talk all that shit, but I'll be the first to say that I'm nervous. It is what it is. We'll see what happens.
Jesse's gonna be there with a blowhorn.
Dude, every time he goes,
I'm trying to go tomorrow.
I'm really sorry about that.
When Brad plays and just really fuck his game up, bro.
Jeez, Brad, you suck at mini
As
golf.
long as you don't touch him.
It's no fun.
Nope.
Wait a minute. We can show up and heckle and fuck with people's shots.
You don't touch them.
What?
Oh,
Yeah,
you're fucked, bro.
Why do you think I go out to all the games? Let's fuck with people.
Is that what you do? You just fuck with them?
I mean, I just came to Tom's game just to be there, so he knew I was watching it.
He texted me. He was like, "I got a fucking audience."
Yeah, dude, he legit did not. I was like, he walked up, said hi to everyone, and then he just walked and paid for his shit.
He did. I shook his, I gave him a high five or whatever, and he was fucking introduced to Adam.
Yeah.
And him and Adam hit it off, man. They were like chums midway through that game.
He said nothing to me, and then he started playing, and we talked a little bit. But yeah. He was
focused, man.
I just
Laser
wanted to
focus.
He played phenomenal.
Adam's a fucking goofy dude.
Fucking guy.
That's a goofy guy.
Adam, yeah,
Dude, that's a weird guy.
He is a weird dude. Bro.
I only met him once before that when we were practicing that one night, and I only saw him for like a glimpse.
You know who he kind of reminded me of?
Who?
The glot, the rat-a-tat-tat.
Rat-a-tat-tat.
That's who he reminds me of. Brian.
You've never seen the
Brian
Gratata?
Silvis or something like that.
I don't fucking know his name.
You got to look him up, bro.
Okay.
That's who he reminded me of.
He was weird because like every hole I'd be like, "Oh, you're first," and he'd be like, "Oh, I'm first." I'm like, "Yeah, you're first,
Bro, he was a goober.
You're the
man.
guy in charge."
Yeah, that's all I kept thinking of was with Brian, whatever his name is. Anyhow, where we started, Chris?
Brian
I jerked the
Silva.
curtain
Brian
last
Silva,
week.
right?
Yeah.
All right, let's get sports.
Line to deep left field.
Got a picture of him?
Yeah.
45-40. Run, William, run. 20, 15.
Iguodala to Curry. Back to Iguodala. Up for the layup.
Oh, blood by James.
LeBron James with the
This is locker room talk.
Locker room talk.
Yeah.
Dude is awful.
That guy reminded you of him.
He's got a huge following too, which is really sad.
That's
You know what I do? I kind of like a scruffy get like a little bit of a scruffy.
It's the teeth too.
Yeah.
Jesse, what's going on in the world
Well, I
of
got
basketball
something.
and football?
Got something new that wasn't on our notes that just popped up, which I think is
Popping
just
off?
absolutely egregious. They have given our boy, Jared
Who's our
Allen,
boy?
Jared Allen from the Cavs center, $100 million over 5 years.
What?
Trash.
That's a lot of
They're
fucking money
trash,
for
bro.
Jared Allen, man.
Cavs suck.
That's
Like,
If they're going to get rid of any team, it
Like,
shouldn't
I
be the
like
Indians,
Jared
it should be
Allen.
the
He's a hell of a player, but like he's not $100 million player.
Hell
he is
no.
not. Like, he's a mediocre player.
Like he's maybe like a 50, 60 million guy just because of his age.
How many years you said? 5?
5-year, $100 million.
I'll give you $50 million for 5 years.
$20 million a year for that bum.
Man,
Jesus.
he's not a bum, but he's not
worth.
he's not an
100
all-star.
million.
There's no true centers in the league anymore that really deserve that kind of money just because of how the game has changed, I think. And like he's versatile, he's young, he's athletic and
They
everything.
just drafted that Camry or whatever,
And-
Evan Mobley.
Apparently we're just going to be the big ball team in the league. We're not going to fucking win shit that
I was
way.
gonna say,
but
we're
I
not going to
mean-
win anything.
I mean, it'd be exciting, I guess, but
100 million.
who the fuck's going to defend out on the
The
perimeter?
Cavs have not been exciting to watch since LeBron left. Let's be honest.
They've never been so exciting to watch without LeBron.
I like Okoro. That's about it.
You said they've never been exciting without Bron? Please.
Not
Let's
my
go back to
life.
the dream team. 90s dream team. They were
Dude,
phenomenal to
at
watch.
Darty.
Where are they?
They were so fun to
Hot
watch.
Rod,
Where are they?
Hot
Price.
Rod Williams, Larry Nance.
I was a little
Mark
too young.
Price.
I didn't watch them.
They were
so
fun. They were fun.
They were good till they got Danny Ferry. Then they fell apart.
They're never
Craig
winning
Elo.
anything, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I just feel like
I mean, you watch the Browns forever and they didn't win anything either. So
no, there were some fun
I
teams to
mean,
watch, though.
serious
There were some
here.
fun players throughout that time. Aside from the 90s, the Cavs were fucking awful.
Okay, but you just made the point that apparently winning
When
isn't
the-
everything.
No,
to be fun, so-
I didn't say that. They weren't fun to watch. Once you get past those 90s teams, it's trash, LeBron, trash.
Oh, I
LeBron
absolutely agree.
and trash
I
again.
absolutely agree.
At least with the
early
Browns, when we
90s,
were bad,
then Bron,
you had
and
the
then-
fun of watching Josh Cribbs, Peyton Hillis, Josh Gordon. Like every so often, a guy would come along.
Yeah.
There were also some miserable years where the funnest person to watch was Phil Dawson and Dave Zastadil.
Yikes.
But
The Cavs fans have the pleasure of having the worst general manager in the history of sports, Ted Stepien. There is actually a rule in the NBA draft that you cannot trade away all of your draft picks called the Ted Stepien rule.
Jesus.
It is that bad.
What a douche.
Yeah, this dude ruined the team in the 70s and 80s.
I don't know. I feel like the Cavs had plenty of time to do rebuilding and they're just not going anywhere. It's just awful.
I think
They
I
just suck.
said with Mobley, they're going to be a playoff team in 2 years. Mark my
You
words.
think so?
Yep.
I think they'll be a playoff team also. I don't think that we're going to be a contender,
No.
but we'll be a playoff team. It's not hard to get into the playoffs in the NBA. though.
Eighth,
There's
seventh.
a lot of teams.
Like more teams get into it than don't anymore.
Yeah.
So it's, which I think is stupid.
Oh,
as
that's
hell.
right. Yeah, now you got that too. So all they got to do is top 10.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. That doesn't mean playoffs doesn't mean anything anymore, though.
That's
They
all
gotta win a
That's
playoffs.
what I said, though.
Yeah, I mean,
Sticking with contract extensions and more important contract extensions, the Cleveland Browns
Chubby.
that you hate extended our great Nicholas Chubb.
I think this was a steal.
3 years, I believe $33 million, $20 million guaranteed. And he's going to earn every penny of it. I don't think he's walking away with 20. He's going to get every bit of that money. The dude is insane. He took a team-friendly deal, which I love. I don't love it for him because I don't think that that's going to work out for him. But it works for me.
Second best player on the team in my eyes.
He'll be 29 whenever his contract is up. He's betting on himself that he'll still be playing at that point. Make a little bit more on a third contract, but I don't know. I mean, if you look at the contracts, like Zeke had a 6-year, $90 million contract.
That's why I was saying I thought Chubb would be higher.
Yeah, I thought for sure he was going to be a $100 million man. The only thing that I can think is that they said, well, we've got Hunt for 2 more years, so
Good call.
we don't need you.
You're not as valuable right now as you will be in 2 years from now.
Right. So I don't know if the agent just didn't call their bluff or if he really is just like, hey, I want to win and I want to help the team and I'm okay with 20 million. I'm still a rich man. Like, I don't know. He doesn't seem like the flashy type of dude that cares about any of that kind of shit. Like he's always been soft spoken. Dude. So Chubb never talks at all,
Mhm.
but this dude has got some of the greatest quotes of all time. I just saw this post the other day of some of the things that he said. And somebody asked him like why he doesn't tweet or Instagram or anything like that. And he said, you've never seen a Lamborghini commercial. No need to advertise.
I saw that. It's fantastic.
That's a badass quote,
That is
man.
pretty slick, man.
Um,
I like that.
but yeah, what do you guys think? Nick Chubb staying in the division. You, Ryan, specifically.
I like Chubb. I think it's a fantastic deal for you guys. Price wise, it's good. I think holding on him is smart. I don't think it's a lose at all for you guys.
It's a necessity for Cleveland. Absolutely. I mean, you're not going to get rid of Nick Chubb, who is definitely a top 5 back. Some would argue a top 3 back in the NFL. 2 for you. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, you're not going to get rid of that. You're not going to get rid of that production. In terms of what he got, though, yeah, I almost think you're right on that whole Kareem Hunt comparison, because to me, I feel like the Browns kind of got away with murder here.
We got Kareem Hunt for really cheap too.
Well,
he was like a 2-year, $10 million deal.
I get that though. Like that,
sure.
That's a, what's the word I'm looking for? That's a rebuilding project.
But if you told me that over the course of 5 total years, you would have the greatest running back duo in the entire NFL for $43 million total.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's the thing. Like Chubb's definitely worth more than this. We can all agree on that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's why when I found out about it, it was actually, I think it was Ken who told me on the golf course that day. And I had said, I was like, that's it? I mean, am I wrong?
Yeah.
Like that seems very low to me.
Yeah.
Like for a guy who's, like you said, number 2, to me, probably 3 or 4. But yeah.
Take a guess. What do you think he is in terms of rank money wise for running backs in the NFL? Top ranked to, like, I'll tell you, he's top 10
per year. Are we talking
per year?
I say he's 8th.
Yeah, that'd probably be about mine.
6th.
Yep.
Damn, they don't make that much, huh?
And
well, some of them do. I mean, Zeke just got 90 million.
Yeah.
I don't know what CMC got.
He's better than Zeke.
But they thought he was going to set the precedence, and he didn't do it.
That's wild. This doesn't seem like that much.
Makes me wonder what Derrick Henry's going to get.
But yeah, I think Chubb is the best runner in the NFL. I don't think he's the best running back because he doesn't bring what like a Dalvin Cook or a Christian McCaffrey does with catching the ball.
Yeah.
But in terms of straight up rushing, dude is insane. I saw a statistic today. So Derrick Henry is number 2 in the league in 4th quarter yards per carry at 6 yards per carry. What do you think that Nick Chubb is? What do you think his yards per carry? Yards per carry.
5.
I'm going to say 7.
10.6 yards per carry in the 4th quarter of games.
Oh, and just the 4th.
Just the 4th quarter.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
That's fair.
Chubb's number 1 in yards per carry. Over 5.5.
Yeah. It was 5.5.
5.5.
That's exactly what I said. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense then.
Yeah. I think the future's looking bright, man. We got to sign Ward still. We got to get Teller. And we got to get Baker. And I think with this deal, this was the one that we thought, who are they going to keep? Are they going to let Chubb go because he's a running back? Are they going to let Ward go? I don't think you got to worry about it now. Now your cap salary issues are gone. Miles is locked up. Chubb is locked up. Hunt is locked up. Most of your offensive line is locked up. You've got all these young guys that you brought in free agency that they're locked up, like John Johnson, Troy Hill, those guys. I think you are sitting pretty. And if Baker takes a team deal also, sheesh.
They might even have some money left over to, play around with a veteran here or there.
Hell yeah. Bring in Tom Brady as a backup. Who knows? That's what my Madden team did. 2 years down the line, my Madden team had Brady put in automatically at 85 overall as my backup. I said, all right.
I read a rumor today that said Aaron Rodgers might be heading to Tampa Bay after Tom Brady would pack up and leave town.
Allegedly now he's saying that he's thrilled to be back with the team and that he's so happy that we were able to get past this and all this other shit. And it's just like, pussy, dude, fuck you.
Yep.
Dude,
what are you talking about?
You guys know who his fiance is?
Yeah, it's Shailene Woodley
from the Divergent series.
Yeah.
What a weird fucking couple.
Yeah. And they started dating shortly after he broke up with Danica Patrick.
Yeah, dude. What a downgrade.
Yeah, and
no offense.
I remember like when that happened, she posted a picture of him on Instagram and everybody went wild, of course. And I had to do the lookup as far as age went and everything.
Huge age.
And he's like 20 years older than her or something like that.
I think she's younger than me.
She's young.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
She's like 26, 27.
I think she might be around 25.
It's just a weird couple, man.
Yeah.
When I found out they were dating, I was like, I mean, in her though.
Aaron Rodgers kind of looks like a perv. I saw a video of him like walking.
But I'm like, you're Aaron Rodgers.
Flip-flops coming into training camp, and he kind of looks like a dude that diddles kids.
Danica Patrick.
I mean, come on. From her to that girl.
Well, he was with what's her name? I don't
Olivia
know.
Munn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big titty girl from the X-Men Apocalypse.
Smoking.
Olivia Munn.
Yeah.
Oh, she's fantastic.
Video game chick.
He was with her.
Yeah, she's sexy.
And that didn't work out.
Speaking of contract extensions, Jimmy Butler, they're saying max deal 184 million.
Oh, I think
that's worth that.
I think he deserves it.
184 million over 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah. There's very few top tier, top 15 guys that you can get in the NBA that deserve that kind of money. And he took you to a finals. The dude has been successful everywhere that he goes. I don't know if you can go. I mean, is he a LeBron James type of player? No, but you don't want to let a guy like that walk. And he's got the resume to say, hey, I'm taking this or I'll go somewhere else.
We're talking these contract extension deals that we've just talked about on the show. And this dude's going to get $45 million a year.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
Basketball is the new baseball, man. Some of these basketball players get baseball money.
They need a cap big time, man.
Like baseball guys get big, huge $400 million contracts, but it's spanned over like 15 years. These dudes are making like 185 in 4 years, and then they're re-upping.
And I agree. Jimmy Butler's a talent, but to me, he's not the guy. Like if Jimmy Butler gets traded, we'll say just to the Phoenix Suns tomorrow, you don't go, oh my God, the Phoenix Suns are the team to beat now in the NBA. To me, I'm like, he's a good player.
He's a solid addition.
He's not the team to beat though if they get him.
He's not an elite player though. You know, he's not, like he said, LeBron James. He's not a Kevin Durant. Easy. He's not, you know, that upper
He's not
tier.
a Kevin Durant.
He's not a Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think that he's solid enough that he's going to get you a ring. He will perform like Chris Middleton did in the finals. I don't want to say that he's like Chris Middleton, but he's like a finals Chris Middleton at all times.
It's a fair comparison. He's dependable enough.
It just seems like a lot, but
it is. I mean,
them,
NBA needs a cap.
Yeah. What else you got, Jesse?
Coming up this weekend, specifically for you two, the opening preseason football game is upon us already.
Almost
Steelers versus Cowboys.
Isn't Hall of Fame game this week?
Yeah.
That's it.
On Friday?
That's it.
I thought it was on Thursday for some. That's why I was thrown off. I was like, what? Isn't it
No,
normally on Thursday?
I saw a bunch of people post that it was Thursday, even like verified accounts, but my Alexa says it's Friday. So I trust Alexa over.
Yeah, when you post that, I was like, wait, do they have a game Thursday and Friday?
Thursday
I was like,
too.
what the fuck?
It's
Thursday.
Is it Thursday?
It's Thursday.
Alexa's wrong then.
Well, it's Alexa.
She's
Fuck
basically
I
Google.
trust my Alexa over everything.
I do, man. I trust
Jesse
her.
Young, right? Sports Illustrated
it's
from
Thursday.
Alexa Stats.
Thursday at 8 p.m.
Okay, I was gonna say
on
Okay.
Fox.
I'm pissed because we were gonna go.
I
We dropped the fucking ball.
Well, I was gonna get tickets for it, but man, I'll tell you, for a preseason game, and I've been to that game a couple years ago.
Plus.
Easy. Those are the lightest tickets.
Yeah.
I went when the Cowboys played the Cardinals, and that's because my manager gave me free tickets to that game.
Yeah.
I met Steve Young that night. That was pretty cool.
That's dope.
Wish I had gotten a picture, but didn't. But yeah, it's a cool game, but it's a preseason game. You're watching a bunch of third string scrubs play each other.
And that
fun,
first
though.
preseason game, you're going to see them play maybe a quarter.
Yeah. It was one possession when they play. Like Dak Prescott went in for a possession. Zeke was in there for, I think, 3 plays.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's expensive. We went to the Steelers Vikings one when they played for the Hall of Fame, and that was a good game.
I've never been to any of the Hall of Fame festivities.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
Working
Now
in
that they did
Canton,
like
you
the
would
big
think that I
Hall of
would,
Fame, they're doing the big expansion. It's gonna be real nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they ever get it fucking done.
Yeah.
They've been talking about this shit since I've
For a
been a
long
teacher.
time.
It's
For a
funny
long time.
because they would come in and they're like, you know, they try to talk about how like McKinley's a historic, you know, first football team ever. And we're a very historic team and we appreciate all that you do with us and blah, 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 because it's butts right up against McKinley High School. And then they came out with the plans to build the Hall of Fame Village.
So tear your school down.
And we're sitting there and like, they're talking about how we're going to like build us football fields and we're going to do all these other things. And I'm looking at that map and I'm like, there ain't no fucking school there. Nobody's talking about that. It's not on the fucking map. School's still there. They bought a whole bunch of houses out from people and all this other stuff, but I ain't gonna be there that long.
By the way, you're expendable.
Yeah. I mean,
But yeah,
what's making money, the high school or the Hall of Fame?
Totally. No. And look, once you walk into that place, when you see the Hall of Fame, you understand the money is hanging from the walls.
And
sure.
just so you know, the Hall of Fame is not funded by the NFL.
No,
It is an independent entity.
Yep.
I did not know that until about 5 years ago.
I didn't know that either.
So all of that stuff that they're doing is all tax money, which I think the city should embrace. You go to like Cooperstown, it is baseball everything.
Yeah.
If you open up a restaurant, it better be like baseball burgers or something like that.
Mhm.
Canton,
They don't have anything like that.
nah, the only theme is crime, bro. There ain't nothing to it. I work there, I can say it.
That's the whole point of this village thing they're supposed to be building, though, is to expand that.
Barberton.
They've done a little bit of stuff that's cool. Like they've got the I think the field goal posts are stupid. Have you seen those?
Yeah, the
Like
power
field goal
lines.
power lines.
I think it's kind of cool.
I think they're
It's
whack.
cheesy, but it's kind of cool.
I love the Hall of Fame bridge with the
Yeah.
football players on it that
Yeah.
leads down into it.
Yeah.
They got a cool hole like that at the mini golf course too. They have the Hall of Fame bridge, which is pretty badass.
Yeah, and they've got some like little artwork and stuff that they've put downtown, like football bike racks and like a big statue and like all this other stuff. I think that would be great for the economy if they just made it a full-on football-based whatever. We'll see if that ever happens.
They don't do enough with it, I don't think. I think it's the fucking only one in the country. Yeah. Take advantage of it being in Canton.
I think that's the curse of it being independently funded, though. It's almost like if it was embraced by the NFL as a whole, it would be the NFL would get out there and they would market that and they'd say, let's, put the money here. And
if it wasn't in Canton, Ohio, I think that they would, but it's just not going to happen. What are your guys' expectations for your own teams, and who do you think will be the breakout player of the year on your team this year?
For me, I think it's CeeDee Lamb for sure, because I feel like he had a decent year. But I feel like Dak going down hurt a lot of his slant routes, and that's what CeeDee Lamb is brought in for, is those slant routes. So to me, Dak Prescott throws that just as good as anybody in the NFL. That route for him, the Dink and Dak route, was named literally after him. So for me, I think CeeDee Lamb steps up and he becomes our number one receiver this year. And as far as the record goes, I'm back and forth on this all the time, but I stick with 11-6. I think we win the division. We win a first round game. We lose in the second round.
That's exactly what I have for you, actually.
I think Ben Roethlisberger comes out, has his best season ever in the NFL. And then I think Claypool.
Do you really?
I think Claypool and Juju
Najee Harris
continue to develop this year, and they prove Jesse wrong with all the hate he gives them. And I have them going 9-8.
Those soft ass TikTok bitches.
I think they've got talent. I think they need to clean up their act a little bit, get off the social
nameless
media.
Nameless great faces. They're really not that good.
This dude.
My thing is the Tomlin effect. Like, I always believe in that dude. If Mike Tomlin came to the Cowboys tomorrow, I would fucking get down on the ground and kiss his shoes, right where he stands.
That's why I'm giving 9-8. They don't ever have losing seasons. They're not going to be phenomenal, but they're not. I think that they pull out a 9-8 season. I think I don't know. We'll see. It's a stretch. They've got a lot of work to do. But I don't think that they're going to be as awful as people think.
I don't think they're going to be last. I still say the Bengals are going to be last.
I think the Bengals will still be last, but I think that you guys win 6 games.
Okay. That's fair. I think we prove you wrong.
I think that our breakout player for the year this year is going to be the most hated Odell Beckham Jr.
No way.
I think that he's going to come out.
Nope. Not a chance.
We've got an off season of the same playbook. Finally, same everything. Coaches are coming back. Everybody is coming back. Baker was one of the best quarterbacks in the league, a top 5 quarterback in a lot of statistical categories during the second half of the season last year. You got Chubb coming back now. All these other guys. Chubb, I think, is going to be the best player on our team, but I can't say that that's a breakout because it's just expected.
All that is great because all these people are coming back and they're all going to do great, but Odell didn't play. None of that's going to matter.
I think that Odell is going to have his chemistry and everything with a training camp and all that other stuff that we weren't able to get last year. We weren't able to see the fruits of last year because of the injury.
Yeah. I think it's the put up or shut up year for him for sure. It's, go out there and do it now.
If he doesn't do well, he won't be here.
Yeah. This is his 3rd season, right? With the Browns. Yeah.
And the thing
he's shown nothing.
They'll keep if he doesn't perform, they'll keep Jarvis.
Yep.
They'll keep Higgins. and you've got Peoples-Jones who is big and talented.
Yeah, no, I do.
And you've got a Burner and Schwartz. You've got a receiving core behind him. You don't need Odell, but I truly think that he is going to show up and be a 1,300 yard guy with 8 touchdowns.
Jeez.
I hope it happens for you. I really do. Because like I said, I feel like it's the put up or shut up year for Odell Beckham. It's like you have to earn that contract this year.
Yeah. I think he's going to be great. I got my Brownies winning 12 games this year. 12-5.
Okay. 12-5. What did you say?
For what? The Cowboys? 11-6.
12-11-9.
Yep.
Okay.
And we're going to go to the AFC Championship game. And if God's on our side, baby, we're going to the fucking Super Bowl.
Out of here. You're going to the playoffs.
I'll never project a Super Bowl until we've gone to a Super Bowl, but we were this fucking close to going to the AFC Championship, and nothing can tell me that we would not have beat those fucking Bills last year and gone to the Super Bowl. I don't know if we would have beaten Tampa because of the way they got that pressure. We have a better line than the Chiefs did, so who knows if they would have been able to do all that. But you never bet against the GOAT. That's like my worst fear. If the Browns go up against Brady, goddamn, I'm going to be pissing myself the whole time.
It's just the fact that they didn't beat the Chiefs. They made Patrick Mahomes look silly.
Patrick Mahomes rushed for 500 yards behind the fucking line.
Yeah.
It was awful.
I mean,
But-
you made the next generation Tom Brady look like, chump change.
Yeah. So who are your Super Bowl predictions for this upcoming year? Give me your AFC NFC championship game and the
Buccaneers
players within.
are going again. And
Saints ain't going.
no.
Not with Breeze
Seattle,
going.
maybe. Buck Seattle.
Chiefs, Seahawks.
So 2 Seahawks.
Okay.
Right.
Well, it can't be Buck Seattle because they're both NFC. I thought you were telling me the NFC championship game. Who's
Huh?
your Super Bowl pick for the AFC?
I said Buck Seahawks.
Both are NFC
Yeah,
teams.
both
Are they? Are
Yeah.
Seahawks? Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Is there in the West of the NFC?
Oh. I don't know why I thought they were opposing. Well, it's Bucks.
Well, they used to be AFC
It's
West. Back in the
Bucks
day.
for sure. Well, shit. I don't know then.
With the Chiefs, the Browns, Steelers, the Ravens.
Bills? I won't say Bills just to be a wild
Titans
one.
are good though too. Titans are
I'm gonna
looking
say
solid.
Bills. Bills and Bucks.
This is the last year that the Chiefs are going to make it to the AFC championship game. I've got Browns versus Chiefs. In the NFC, I've got the Packers versus the Bucks. And in the Super Bowl, Browns beat the Packers, baby. Let's fucking go.
Chiefs,
Titletown, Cleveland, USA.
Chiefs, Bills, Bucks, Saints, and Browns aren't going anywhere other than the first round. First round, that's it.
God knows we'll get past the first round if we face you bums.
The terrible thing with predictions though is
Wow,
like
I like that. You had us getting into the first round. Thank you.
one
Said if we face
I
you bums.
appreciate it.
one injury changes everything. I mean, if Patrick Mahomes goes down tomorrow, nobody's picking the Chiefs to win the AFC.
I think that they rode their time out.
Yeah.
I think they had their opportunity last year. Just they looked bad. They
Well, on top of
skated.
that-
They skated through last year.
They have to address that line.
Yeah, dude.
They
it
were
was
bad
awful.
last year.
It was
They
awful.
supposedly fixed up the line, but like you said, one injury. Kelsey goes down or Tyreek goes down.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be Mahomes.
Yeah.
Because Mahomes isn't winning throwing to fucking McCole Hardman. I think the Bills are great.
Didn't they get rid of
Um,
Kelsey?
No.
They
No.
Mm-mm.
I was
No.
reading about somebody was okay. Never
They
mind.
signed him last year, I think, to a longer deal.
Okay, maybe that's what it was.
I like I said, like you. I think Miami. I've gone
Oh,
time and time again.
yeah.
I think
Miami?
I don't think they're going to win the AFC, but I think they're the shock team this year. I think Miami's going
see
to win
that.
the division. I really do.
It really depends on what Tua does.
Yep.
Because that team is loaded. Their offensive talent is superb.
Nothing but weapons. You have nothing but weapons.
You've got Jalen Waddle, Will Fuller after week 1. You've got Devontae Parker. You've got Preston Williams.
Yeah.
You've got Myles Gaskin, who's a solid running back. Tua, Mike Gesicki. That's just your offense.
Yeah.
One of the best lines in the league. And your defense came out of nowhere last year. That defense was a top. I don't even know if they weren't top 5, they were close to it.
And they were
They were
averaging 30
fantastic.
points a game the last like 5 weeks of the season already. So their offense was just turning on at the moment they needed to. Had they went to the playoffs, they would have been a very dangerous team.
I feel like they've been building for a while though, and they just haven't hit their
Stride.
stride yet.
I agree. No,
Like, they have the capability.
it's a maturity thing year after year because they're also one of the youngest teams year after year. So this year, I feel like they've finally grown together. They've gotten a
Yeah.
year under their belt playing together. And I think now we're going to see what they're made of. And the Bills, to me, while I think they are a great team, I think they've got the building blocks for a future. To me, you have to prove to me that you are a good team year after year. That's been the
Consistency.
Bills' problem since 1998.
Yeah, they are like every other season.
Yes. Yes.
If the Dolphins don't get what they need out of Tua and that Deshaun Watson trade happens,
That's what, I heard.
multiple Super Bowls
Yeah,
in the next 3 years, they will win 2 out of 3 Super Bowls.
No argument here.
They will be insane.
Yep.
For sports, it's pretty much almost everything I got. Oh no,
I think that was everything.
U.S. women's national team, man.
Like I said, that was everything.
We got to talk about this. I had one of the greatest
Should we talk about
moments
the
of my
men's
life
soccer
today.
instead?
I had one of the greatest moments of my life today. So the women's lose.
What a transition.
but
The women's lose. They can't get the gold. They can still get bronze. All right, they can still make it on the podium, which it's
gold or nothing, baby.
that's it's the
If you're-
American
if you're
way.
America,
but
yeah, I mean,
you put a team of 35 to 40-year-old women out there, and you're not going to win gold. I mean, come on. We put out an older team past their prime. It is what it is. I'm not disappointed in them.
Mia Ham Wallet.
Wow.
Mayhem's a G. Dang.
So they lost the game to Canada today, 1-0.
Canada, eh?
And all these people are like, I'm fucking glad. I'm so happy that they lost. These American hating, kneeling sons of bitches. So this dude, good old Don Dara III, good old Don comes in, and somebody commented, basically, the right is now actively rooting against the United States, which I thought was funny. And Don Dara gets on, and he's like, well, how do you know that all of the negative comments that are cheering against the United States are from the right? I hate that you people make this all political. Yeah, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
What do you mean, you people?
So I go and I
people.
I click on his profile and I scroll down to his likes, because most people don't realize that their likes are public.
Yep.
I scroll through and it's like 4 Rush Limbaugh pages, a couple Trump pages, and I'm just like, well, you got all these Rush Limbaugh and Trump pages and you're the one defending the right. I go, it's kind of ironic. I go, let me tell you what, Donnie boy, if you can find one liberal left-winged person that roots and says, congratulations, I'm so happy that Canada won, I will give you $100. But if you cannot find even a single one, for every single right-winger, I get $5 that I can find.
That's a sweet deal.
He never technically accepted.
Of course not.
Imagine that.
But I jumped at the occasion to go through the comments, and I started looking through the likes, and I'd screenshot it, and I'd just post it, and I'd go $5. And I'd go to the next one. I go $10. Needless to say, I got to $45 before Don fucking blocked me.
At least you're going to get put in jail again.
No, you can't get put in jail for that.
This dude
said you were bullying him or something.
It was great. It was one of the best moments of trolling that I've ever had.
One day our message board on there that we go back and forth with each other on every day, it's going to become 2 people one day real soon.
Yeah.
I'm gone, guys.
And then there was
deleted
2.
me.
Jesse's gonna have to start logging into Steph's page. You're gonna become that Jesse and Steph on fucking couples Facebook.
One of those couples, the shared pages.
That's all I got for sports, though. It was just a great roast. I loved it.
I like it. All right, let's get social.
It is July 20th, 1969, and man is about to land on the moon.
Freedom itself was attacked this morning by a faceless coward, and freedom will be defended.
Faceless coward.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
That's the way the news goes.
Oh, hey now. Let's get social. Chris, were you proud of me because I was prepared?
Yeah.
Your comment section earlier, like, oh my God, look at Let's Get Social.
I know. I was like, Jesus, man.
Ryan did his homework.
I was always like, I was expecting like, I don't have anything for social.
Try to get it together today. Not that it's anything super exciting, but I wanted to have something ready to go. So a couple COVID related items. Something for Jesse for cooking, because I know Jesse likes to cook.
I do love cooking.
And
cooking.
Something space related, since space has been in the news lately. Thanks to Chris for this article, but apparently a black hole, like fucking forever away. I mean, that shit's like millions of light years away from us.
I said 80 eons away or something. Like
they found light reflecting through the backside. Like they captured actual light on the other side of the black hole
for the first time ever.
For the first time, like ever. Mm-hmm. My question is, do you think that spending money? I mean, I know NASA got defunded by Obama, I think, and now we rely on like fucking Elon and whatever.
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah, but do you think that it's worthwhile spending money on researching or even catapulting stuff to something that extent? Like, does that do us any good? Is that relevant whatsoever? Or should we be putting our focus more on, like Mars being inhabited? And I mean, I know we got to explore space, but what are your thoughts on that? Like, where we kind of like direct the space program and what its involvement is, or what we do with it?
I think it's all under the same umbrella to me. And it's like, look, if you're going to reach for one, why not reach for even further? That's what NASA teaches us, right? Reach for the sky and beyond.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about here too. So to me, I feel like, why not explore and why not prove those thousands of years of theory, from all those scientists and everybody else who have made these predictions. Like it says in the article, boy, why am I drawing a blank right now? The guy was proven right, not Aristotle, but Einstein. Yeah, Einstein was proven right. And it's taken this long to even get to that. why not explore even further, man? You know, and our curiosity is piqued with movies like Interstellar that show this kind of thing. And they go, man, you know, maybe it's whatever's possible just beyond the limits there.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Jesse?
Yeah. My thing is like the stuff that they're researching for this isn't necessarily just so that they can be like, look, we found light.
Right.
Like there's this scientific shit. And I stumble upon it from like time to time on YouTube or something where they try to simplify it, but there's just no way to without having a degree and years of study of what this stuff actually is. But like the quantum physics and the shit that these people are trying to do and trying to discover that is related to these black holes and things like that is just so beyond us.
Yeah.
Like
So
we just don't even think about it. Like
we wouldn't be able to understand it.
yeah, like when we look at it, we're like, oh, that's cool. Like, but what does that even mean?
Right.
Like, what does it even mean that they found light behind a black hole? I don't fucking know. What does that mean that they taught that they proved? Because I read the article and it still really wasn't clear like what they proved as for me, a layman.
Yeah.
But like I know that like Interstellar is very rooted in actual science.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like the time travel and all of those things that go into it, like that is rooted in real, actual
Approved by scientists.
Right.
Yeah.
It's still theoretical,
Yeah.
but it should work is
Right.
basically where we're at. We haven't been able to practice it because we can't get to a black hole, but like in theory, we should be able to get there and you can progress forward in time.
Yeah.
They said
Which is your relativity, which comes back to Einstein. I don't know if that's what they were proving.
Yeah.
I think that it's very important to do this stuff. I think that there are things that we feel like we're a very advanced culture, but I think in 500 years, they're going to look back at us and be like, can you fucking believe that they used to have to drive cars? Or
Right.
these idiots thought that this weird microwave were ghosts. Like they're going to find shit that is so unknown to us now. And it's just going to be a way of life.
Yeah.
And I think that that's pretty amazing. I think that that stuff is super important.
Yeah.
I think the fact that they can do it is mind-boggling and like very cool. Whether I think it's necessary or not, I don't really know because I don't really know what we gather from it. Like I don't know what we're gonna like what that means. Like Jesse, I don't understand what the fuck that even means that they found it.
It's
And
just
what's
evolution.
the relevance, you know.
Yeah.
But I do know, like obviously, the more close range stuff and like looking for habitable planets and things like that is important. A lot of people don't believe in the space program or think it's a waste of time and money, but look, we ain't going to be on this planet forever. I mean, in our lifetime, it's not going to change, but who knows what comes after our lifetime, and things aren't going to be sufficient for forever, you know.
Technology advances very quickly.
It does.
Though. The way that we are progressing with artificial intelligence and, I mean, just look at how far we've come from the 80s to now.
Yeah.
In the 80s, we had computers the size of this house that we're in right now just to do basic mathematical functions. And now you can do everything that computer could on this phone.
They say in the way that technology is advancing right now that you will have 100 years worth of advancement in technology in the next 7 years, which is insane. I mean, when you think about, like you said, how much has been done, think about how much has been done just in our lifetime.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy to think about where we've come.
Well, and there's super cool stuff that doesn't get the publicity that you would think that it would. Like I remember it's got to be 5 or 10 years ago now, but I remember when the very first atom was able to be teleported.
Yeah.
And that blew my mind. And like I was reading into it and it's like they teleported it from, you know, this side of the room to that side of the room. And then a couple of years later, they were able to do it, you know, through a wall on the other side of the room. And for me, I'm like, holy shit, like this is future transportation. This is shipping. This is developing. This is, you know, all of these things that are going to change, you know, the world happening right now. And nobody talks about it.
We take a lot of it for granted. Think about just our cell phone. Think about this show.
Yeah.
I can call you right now and immediately your phone's going to ring.
Yeah.
And that's sending some fucking signal to space.
Thousands of miles.
Transmitting some wavelength into sound and image, and then you can see it. Like that shit just blows my mind. And none of us think about what actually goes into that or how that
that's
works.
fucking basic.
And that's fucking crazy.
And the thing is, I hated phone calls back in the day, and I hate them now. So my thing is if I can just get on a text and text you
Even
guys
that.
and tell you, you know, something quick, I don't have to call you every single time that I have some idea about the show or about life or about anything else.
Yep.
That's pretty cool to me. You know,
I don't know. It mind boggles me just the way that any of that watching a television show.
Yeah.
Like they're just appearing on my screen. From where? Where does that? It's like when you're watching like Willy Wonka and the stuff's like going
it's
up
a million
through the air.
pieces.
I don't like, but realistically, like how the fuck does that shit work? And then you take space into
Mirrors.
account, which is just fucking
Well, we've got
out of this
fucking
world. Insane.
I mean, you go back 60 years and you've got space missions that are blowing up on
Right.
national TV, and it's a national travesty.
Yep.
And now they're landing themselves perfectly so that you don't have to fucking make
Do
a
it.
new one. You can just reuse it.
it's wild.
Like the amount, like the science that goes into that alone. Like when that shit landed itself, I was fucking pumped.
That was
one
Musk,
of
right?
my most like, fuck yeah, America moments.
was
like,
that the Elon one?
Mhm.
Yeah, dude. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. And now we're talking about, you know, the hyperlink or whatever it's called, you know, traveling from here to Arizona in like 2 hours. So
Yeah.
Technology's wild, man.
You're gonna have
Science is-
self-driving cars. Like people are worried about
I don't
losing
trust
their
those.
jobs to technology. Dude, 20,000 miles Google has put out a car. I believe it was Google. 20,000 miles, and it's never been in an accident. I don't think any of their vehicles have been in accidents except for 3, and none of the accidents were their fault.
But to that argument, I think it's movie Artificial Intelligence, which is a
yeah.
far stretch.
AI.
But you think about it, technology does advance to a certain point where you aren't needed. What do humans do?
You just live.
Like what's our sources of income? I mean, I know it's hypothetical and it's probably far from now, but technology is advancing to so extreme that there are very minimal things that humans need to do.
So
Look at a movie like Her too.
right now you have income because you have a service that you can commit and help with.
Right.
If I can replace every single service with robotics,
Mm-hmm.
why could we not live all like kings? Everybody's food is getting robotically farmed, shipped robotically to the stores. Robotically, we can go in and just take whatever we need.
So if everything goes robots, do robots fix the robots when the robots stop working?
100%.
So what do we do? So everyone just has the same income?
It doesn't.
Everyone just makes a certain
There
amount?
is
I
no
mean,
income.
how does
you
that
just
work,
you have a
though?
house and you just survive. You live.
I am A-okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, how
any
does that
food-
work?
Every week you need food. The food drones to you. You're good. You got a fucking robot chef in your car in your kitchen.
Okay, so that sounds great. Now think about this in real
will
life.
it happen? No, because
No.
Bezos
Corporation.
exists.
But let's say this. Okay, let's say it's realistic and it could happen. What do we do? What do you do when?
You do whatever the fuck you want.
How many people live in the U.S. or let's just say in the world?
380 million.
Okay, 380 million people no longer have to go to work no longer go to work every day. What do you do?
Well, just so happens that I haven't had to go to work for a couple of months, so I'll tell you what I do. I play video games. I go on walks. I go on hikes. I travel.
I take walks on the beach.
You do whatever the fuck you want to do.
I guess I just can't imagine that. You got 380 million people now, like all on the road at the same time, all trying to travel at the same time,
And
all going out to
self-driving
eat
cars
at the same time,
and
like,
self-driving non-accident related
it's
cars.
just wild. I don't know.
Imagine you
That
have
Ocho, man.
Yeah.
imagine you have a watch or a sensor or something like that, where at any given time you can ping, 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 I'm hungry, and a drone brings you something. And it comes from a local store that's serviced with.
Do you want to live in a world like that though?
Fuck yeah.
You want to live in a world where you just see like zoom, 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 all these drones just flying around in the fucking sky? all
I
over
always
the
want to
place?
live in Blade Runner.
I don't know.
100%, because you know what? In order to sustain all of the people, you wouldn't need that much more than what we're doing now. We have a surplus of food now to the point where a lot of it gets wasted because people can't afford
Yeah.
it. If you have a point where nobody has to work, everything stays the same in terms of farming. And people just survive. Like nothing gets wasted.
Do you think it works if only in certain places advance at that point though, and other countries are still like third world countries?
Fuck other countries. Sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, but I guess my point is like, how does that necessarily work if we advance, or us in China and whatever advance to that extreme? That obviously changes import exports and that kind of thing. Does that
you have none anymore.
That's
You
what I'm
don't
saying.
need it.
That's what I'm saying. So
I think that
I mean, how does that affect just the overall world economy?
you would need the revolution. You wouldn't need an economy because there's no finance, because you don't
That's
need
weird.
anything. I mean, what do you need? What at that point, what do you need?
Whatever we need to sustain.
You have
the
shelter,
stuff that
you
we
have
made.
food, you have water.
Yeah.
You don't need anything else. In terms of entertainment and everything, you do whatever you fucking want to do. You don't need income.
Yeah.
You could go out and you don't have to work anymore. You can go out and you can just
Weird,
be
man.
an artist. Just fucking go and paint or do shirts or do whatever you want to do. If I want to cook, I can cook for people and it's fun because I don't have to pay for income.
How do you buy that stuff though?
I don't have to.
So I would just I make something and I want to like sell it. I just give it away because I no longer need to make money from it.
Yeah.
And why that?
And if I want to make it, I just obtain the products to make it for free.
Yes.
How does that?
It's an artistic expression,
It would be
man.
amazing,
It's
but
about
it's not realistic.
the beauty of the world.
Yeah.
And why that's weird for you is because you've never taken a minute one time to fucking relax in your life and just not have something going on.
I know.
Like that to you is so foreign of a concept. It's like me fucking climbing Everest.
Right.
No way that's ever.
But I just feel like there's got to be. Obviously, this is all so far beyond and hypothetical, but like there's got to be some sort of expense, you know, like, okay, we want to do this podcast. Well, we need equipment for it. So we just order and it's just free and they just bring it to us.
If you get to the point where artificial intelligence is able to make all products, you're not paying anybody to make these products anymore. They're smart enough to make them without you.
The only thing
you don't need somebody overseeing any of it.
The only thing hard to think about, like, okay, that robot over at the plant making the computers broke down, so we're gonna send a fix robot down there to fix that robot, and then like.
Well, the only thing I debate is corporate greed, is because these robots are going to have to be, somebody's reaping the benefits of these robots, just living and, you know, doing all this stuff. Some corporation behind the scenes is taking the money.
Well, someone initially advanced them and created them. So you know that they're going to want something from it.
But money's still a factor then in that world, even with that, is what I'm saying. So like, you know, to me, I feel like if you wanted to order computers and you go, oh, it's just free, that's not going to happen.
But that's when you rise up and you murder the billionaires. And you take over the roof.
Now we're murdering billionaires.
You know, somebody's got to eat them. The thoughts and comments of Jesse do not reflect the
This world would be great without money.
Their meat is very lean.
No, I agree, though. I would love to get back to a time and place where we're off like a barter system and you just trade for services and money wasn't what ruled and ran everything. You know?
I think money was the worst invention ever made, to be honest. I will argue that against anything.
And that's the thing, is it's always been there between trade. I mean, you go back to fucking cavemen and you're trading fucking, you know, rocks. Here's my woolly mammoth leg for some fire starters. Like that's just what it was. But
the bigger, better deal.
If everything is already made for you and it's readily accessible, there is no trade. There is no economy. There is no money. There is no anything. It's just simply living an expression, however you want it to be. I can go to every single sports
have
game.
like ghetto robots, and like the rich neighborhoods would have like real fancy robots.
Probably at first, but it all just depends on how you go. Like everything that we always see is always this dystopia in all these movies and everything because it's the Bezos or somebody who's running the robots. But
we saw him on the golf course the other night.
We did.
If you take that over, and I mean,
I don't know. It's weird because
at one point we will reach that point.
It's weird because like we're jokingly talking about it, but we're going to so far advance that something's going to happen. And what is that next step? You know, how does that evolve? How do we evolve as a people to allow that to happen? Because right now you have sources of power. And they're not going to want to just give that away.
No, they want their hand in the cookie jar.
You know, I don't know.
Kill them.
Yeah. So, anyways,
I knew you were.
They are the Wagyu of human meat. Jeez. They do not strenuate themselves. They are lined with delicious fat. Fry them with garlic and rosemary.
Don't look at me. I live off Arlington.
Jeff Bezos tastes like pork chops.
Ew. He's got to taste like something better than that.
Pork chops are fantastic.
They are, but it's not like the best. I mean, this is Jeff Bezos, the richest man in the world.
I only say pork
tastes
chops
like something
because
better than pork chops.
I think humans are known to taste like pork.
Ew.
Fun fact.
Okay.
Something you want to.
All right. So enough NASA talk. That turned into something completely different.
That wasn't NASA talk.
Yeah. So we're evolving. COVID stuff. Your boy Fauci.
Fauci.
I don't know how to say his fucking name. That fuck. Your boy,
Dr. Fauci.
Your boy Dr. Fauci, he reminds me of the neighbor in the Burbs, which Jesse still needs to watch. Is considering bringing back mask mandates. No, you didn't.
No, I didn't.
He wants to bring back mask mandates even if you are vaccinated.
And our governor already said no.
But if the Fed implements it again like they did previously, then what?
I don't know what happens in that instance.
Then they make you.
If it's a federal law, then you have no state rights.
Yeah, okay.
But it's not going to be a federal law. It's
He
even
just-
our mask rights
Yeah.
during all of the COVID stuff before was a state law.
Yeah. He's saying that he believes that we're going to get to a point now with this new variant that he feels that we need to re-implement masks, even if vaccinated, because it's been proven that vaccinated people can still get sick and give the new one.
Yes.
And you got so many new cases still populating.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that only 50% of the country is vaccinated.
Maybe if 100 million fucking retards would go and get fucking vaccinated. No, don't hit the button. They are.
comments of Jesse Young do not
reflect the Made to Motivate podcast in any way. If they would just fucking get vaccinated, we wouldn't have to worry about this shit.
I just didn't realize it was that high of a number. 50%.
Yeah,
like
it's
pretty high still.
It's just, I think it's like 49.8 right
well,
now.
so Jesse's point is all these jerks that aren't getting it, but you got
about 3% of our national population is retarded.
Wow. We don't use that word around here, sir. 40% of new cases are coming from 3 states. Texas, I understand. And Florida, I understand, because the governor of Florida said, fuck you from the start. He didn't want anything to do with COVID.
Yeah.
But Missouri? That's weird.
But it's another one of those, I hate using this word. It's another one of those right-winger states that, fucking pushes aside all the rules and says
Bunch
the hell
of
with it.
uneducated rubes.
Missouri was the same way. They were the same way.
I guess I just didn't realize that they were that. I don't know. Florida and Texas, it makes sense. They're hugely populated. Florida is a huge place for travel. But I was surprised by that. So are you guys on board if they implement masks again? I mean, will you guys follow through?
I'll have no choice.
Not okay if they go back to like it's recommended. Right now, it's just all the signs at places say, we ask for you to wear a mask if you're not vaccinated, and it's just a request. They don't ask you for any evidence or anything like that. But
what the fuck is going on?
I don't know what Jesse's doing.
They look like rubes.
This guy. If they start to back to where we were last year, where they're saying, "Hey, we're recommending you wear a mask, even if vaccinated," and then it falls like a repeat. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, that was when masks were mandated into stores because they could tell you whether you could shop in the store or not.
Mm-hmm.
So under that circumstance, I have no choice. I want to eat. I'm going to fucking go put on a mask and go in there and do it. If it's out in public and they go, well, we recommend that you wear it. Absolutely not. That's the reason why I got the vaccine in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And look, if you're not handling your business and you want to get the other 50% to do it, make it mandatory.
Okay, but
I know it sucks and it's breaking laws and all this other stuff. But if you really want it done, you go out there and you say you want to live in this country, you have to get it done.
So to that point, we're saying, okay, if you're unvaccinated, you're irresponsible and you should get vaccinated. What if they're saying that at this point, even vaccinated people, it's not getting it done, and you're still part of the problem? You're still not that you're a part of the problem, but it's evolved, and now even with being vaccinated, you can still create an issue.
Well, we knew that anyway. We knew that when we got the vaccination, that there was still a 6% chance that any of us could get it regardless. But the reason we got the vaccine is to limit that chance, to begin with. My thing though is, so I'll use my work as
not just spread it. You can get it.
No, you can get it, but you're very unlikely to die now because of the vaccination.
Yeah.
The thing is it's just, I don't even know what I'm saying.
I'll use my work as an example. Okay, so a lot of us got the vaccine because we were under the impression that life was supposedly going to get back to normal once we got this. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? It's a year and a half into this fucking thing. We're still wearing masks. We're one of the only businesses that is wearing masks. There's no end in sight that that's going to stop anytime soon. So what's to make me get another vaccine shot this second time around? Because it's probably going to happen in December or January or whenever this ramps up again. What's to make me say, okay, I want to get it again? What's the reward for me? And the other side will tell you, well, it's so, you can limit that chance again and keep it down. I'm like, look, life didn't get back to normal for me. I really don't give a fuck. If I got sick at this point, I would get a week off of work.
Yep.
What else do you got for me?
You just proved why I'm not really concerned about getting the vaccine.
But that's the point though. So if you really wanted to make it a big deal, Biden gets on there tomorrow and he says, look, it's mandatory from this point on. Yeah. If you don't like it, Mexico's there, Canada's there, Africa's there. Fucking find your way to one of them.
Yeah.
My aunt is in the ICU at a particular hospital, and she said that currently there are 5 or 6 people that were in there with the Delta variant, and 2 of the 6 were vaccinated. The rest were not. And she said that it's a whole different thing. It's much more extreme.
They're
like
saying
whatever.
It's worse. Yeah.
But it's still less likely that we will end up dying from it.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like the second that baby comes out, Steph is going to have her shot. And whenever she gets her shot, we're going to be living life normal.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not worried about it. If you chose not to get your shots, like at that point, it's on you. Like, I agree with that. I'm not worried about it.
That's
especially like it's one thing if it's like, well, you know, like I'm pretty healthy and I feel like I've done all right. Like that's one thing. But for the people that are just like ignorantly like going around saying that it changes your DNA and all this other fake bullshit that's been spread out after months and months and months of hundreds of millions of people getting it and having no side effects, and they're still spreading that crap. At that point, like, I don't care what happens to them.
Yeah.
I know that we're doing all of this stuff to try to protect that 100 million people who have not gotten vaccinated. And at that point, it's like, you've made your decision.
You have made the
You can
bed.
go to CVS right now and get a shot put in your arm and be done.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at. I haven't got it. It's by choice. I know that it's by choice.
Right.
When it was popping off last year, I wore my mask everywhere I went.
Mm-hmm.
I socially distanced. I did my due diligence to try and help protect other people. At this point, it's accessible just like anything else. And if you choose not to get it and you get sick from it, that's your choice.
Yep.
And that's where I felt from day one that I think you should make the choice on what you want to do. If you're high risk and you choose not to get it, then you're responsible for what happens.
That's
to
right.
you.
That's why when I see
You
this
know?
shit on the news about people who are going in the hospital and these alarming rates of these, you know, cases of COVID who are unvaccinated, because they said 99% of the cases are unvaccinated, and they go, yeah, and they're in there and they're yelling and they're screaming and all that. I'm like, yeah,
You chose not to get
who'd
it.
have thought it, huh? Right.
Yeah. If I get COVID, which I think I had it already, but if I get it again, it's my own fault. And I'm willing to, I know that that's the responsibility of deciding I haven't gotten the vaccine.
I'll be there for you, but I'll tell you, bro, go out and get it, please.
Yeah, like
Right.
I'm not concerned about it.
Why haven't you gotten it?
I'm just not concerned about needing it. Truthfully, that's it. I work at home.
Yeah.
Not really around many people. When I'm out, it's out somewhere in public outside. Like, I'm not really ever around a lot of people. You both have it, so I feel like I'm not like harming either of you. You have the vaccine.
I'm not offended by it.
You know, like I don't have any.
I think you should get it.
That's
but
your
I don't-
choice.
but
Both
yeah.
all of my parents have it, and they're high risk. You know, they all have the vaccine. Like, I don't feel like I'm putting anyone in immediate danger.
Right.
And people that are out in the public that I possibly could be harming, if they've chosen not to get it, then they made the same choice as me. So I don't feel like I'm at risk. It's available enough now that I'm not concerned that I'm harming someone. Whereas before, when I didn't have it, people couldn't get it as easily as they can. So, okay, maybe I was putting someone at risk. If I give it to you now because I have it and you didn't get the vaccine, you made that choice.
We don't have anyone willing to give it to now. That's the thing. It's literally stockpiling. Like, we have no one to give it to.
I just don't, I'm not concerned that myself of getting it. I feel very healthy. I don't have health concerns. I don't have any health risks. I'm not high risk in anything. I take care of myself. I don't go around a lot of people that I don't know. So I'm not concerned in getting it. And therefore,
Right.
I don't have the need to feel to get the vaccine. I'm not anti-vaccine, but I also don't do, I know this sounds stupid and everyone, you're going to argue with me about it, but I don't do a lot of medicine.
Yeah.
It's not that it's what's in it.
I'm the same way.
I don't feel like I'm being tracked. I rarely take medicine. I like for my body to try and just battle things on its own. If I have a migraine, Ashley yells at me because I don't take medicine.
Steph yells at me all the time.
Don't do it.
She's like, why would you rather suffer? You have a headache. Go take Tylenol. That's what it's for. And
I
I'm
don't
just like,
care.
I'm not going to, I'm fine.
I
Like,
just
I'm
don't
fine.
I don't
it.
care about shit like that. Yeah, I'm talking life-threatening stuff like COVID. Like,
If I was, know I had other underlying health concerns and stuff, and I was putting myself at real risk, or I was older and stuff, absolutely, I would get. I just don't feel that I health-wise am in a position that I feel it's necessary. If I get it, I might feel like shit. I really do think I had it anyways. Back when Jesse had it, and I felt like crap. I think I'm all right. You know, I think I'm okay. So I just don't feel the need to do it. It's not that I don't believe in it. I think that I'm very happy my parents got it because of their health risks and stuff like that. But me, myself, I feel okay. I think it's going to down. I think it's going to start to continue to dwindle off.
it's always going to be an up and down thing.
It's going to be like anything else where I don't think this ever goes away
No.
100%. It's going to be just be like the flu now. It's going to come and go every year.
Pretty much.
With that, outside of just COVID, do you guys have interest in, or do you think you will wear masks in the winter because of just the unpassing of stuff so you don't get sick. Because I know a lot of people said last year, because they were wearing masks, so many people didn't get just the normal winter cold.
I got
stuff.
sick.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah.
So I wonder if
I got
people
COVID.
Yeah. But like flu, I know they said flu numbers were the lowest ever, but was that one because it kind of got played off as COVID, or was that because everyone was wearing masks, so we weren't passing the flu along like we normally would?
I think that was one of the biggest things. I'll probably wear my mask just because I'm gonna have to work for work anyways. So
are you going to have to?
Yeah, we
even
got
as vaccinated.
Doesn't matter.
So
yeah,
silly.
because my district is 30% vaccinated right now, and for children it is down to 13%.
It's just silly to me. That I just don't understand.
We did our part and we still got to pay for it.
That's what I just don't get. You chose to not get vaccinated. That's on you at that point.
Yep. Yeah. That's why I'm like,
that's frustrating.
Give them the health care that they need or whatever, but don't ask me to feel sorry for them.
Yeah,
because it's not going to happen.
Yeah. That and that's another thing. Like, what's the point? To Chris's point, like if I get it, what? So I'm still have to wear my mask anyways.
Yeah,
I don't know. It just seems the whole thing is silly.
You won't be dead.
I don't think I'm gonna be dead anyways. So
I'm just saying you might be though. Why risk it? Russian roulette, but
Russian roulette.
But
it's a risk I'm willing to take.
No, I think honestly, like the main reason why I'll probably wear it in the wintertime is because my face was so much warmer wearing that mask than it ever was without it.
Yeah,
like
I can see that.
I took comfort in the mask. Not my breath. It's minty fresh over here, but it was comfortable in the wintertime, honestly.
Yeah.
Like it was warm. It wasn't getting that cold wind blowing on my face.
It's worse in the summer.
In the summertime, it was fucking terrible. Yeah. It was awful.
I never hated wearing the mask on just a normal, like going to the store. I hated it when it was all day at work because it just got like moist inside from wearing
it all day. If I had a decent mask, like a nice cloth mask, it didn't bother me at all. I would totally forget that I had it on. If I had to wear, like if I forget my mask at home though, and I have to wear one of those shitty paper ones, that is one of the worst things.
And that's why I didn't mind it, because I made those ones that were fit my face. They were loose. They didn't feel snug. Going into the store and stuff, I didn't care.
Yeah.
The medical ones were awful. Anything that was pulling on my ears was awful.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I didn't mind wearing it. I don't normally get sick anyways, so I don't know if I'll wear it. Like it's very rare I get the flu or anything, but
I'm not one of those guys who's going to go into a store and say, "Yeah, you're taking away our rights." It's their store. If they say you have to wear a mask, guess what? I'm wearing a fucking mask.
Yeah.
Like I'll be in and out of here in probably 15 or 20 minutes. And then I'm done. And then I rip it off and I get to my car and I go, I'm not wearing my fucking mask anymore. There
So
you go.
you're saying you're not a bitch. Okay. Just making sure.
Well, certain things.
But when it comes to masks, you're not a bitch.
No, I'm not a bitch.
Okay.
yeah, I think we need to get back to that point, which it seems like we've been there. It's kind of disappointing that it seems like this is maybe creeping up on us again, because it's felt for the most part like things have gotten more normal, other than at your employer, which sucks. But outside of that, living a normal day life, we can go out and do stuff. But another thing COVID related is the federal like eviction protection they had in place. So like you couldn't be evicted currently if you were behind due to work and things like that. Well, that ended. And now it's kind of just that free for all where landlords can just start booting.
Yeah.
Do you think that's right? Two-part question. Do you think that that's right? And two, do you think that these things that we put in place put people in harm's way or set them up for failure? So like the unemployment stimulus that we had going on for so long and then just cut off. I guess what are your guys' thoughts on those protections and things like that?
Yes,
Chris seems amped up and ready to go.
I get to play Mr. Asshole. Sit down, Jesse, just for a second.
I'm sad.
Okay. So anyway, my whole position on this is that, yes, I feel like it's right. One thing, landlords or business owners or whatever, they have a business to run too. They have money to depend on to feed their families, for their well-being, all that. So they have to do their job in the first place. If they don't do it, they don't eat either.
Right.
And in any situation, if it's me versus you, it's always me.
Yeah.
So I support them fully. The other reason I say that is because wasn't too long ago on this show, it was about a month or two ago, we talked about the alarming unemployment rates that are skyrocketing now with all the jobs, for whatever reason, whether they're not paying enough, whether they're too mean, whatever it is, it don't matter. All those jobs are available right now. So there's literally no reason why you should not be paying your bills or paying anything to do with that.
Yeah.
So no, I don't. I am fully on the side that, yes, this needs to be turned back on. It has been long enough. We have been without a stimulus check now. When was the last one?
I mean,
it's been months.
It's been a long time. Beginning of this year.
It's been at least 6 months. Yeah.
Beginning of this year.
So
if you got one, it was beginning of the year.
if you're still depending on that money by this point,
Yeah.
you need to remove the nipple from your mouth and fucking get back to work.
Devil's advocate.
Cool.
Okay, you get let go from your job making $70,000, $80,000, and that's where all your expenses fall under. And you are looking for jobs, actually looking for jobs, and nothing is hiring within your price range. Nothing's hiring within the level you need to make that money to continue the life you live. Are you responsible just to sell your house, sell all of your cars, and get a new lifestyle to fit the jobs that are hiring? Or do you think that those people should have, because when you get unemployment, it's 60% of your pay, So if you're genuinely trying to get into a job and there's nothing hiring that meets your salary range that you need to live, should those people change their means of living, I guess, their lifestyle?
This question is trial and error. Like, it's trial by basis to me. So it's like, to me, living that life wouldn't be as important. I don't value those commodities and those things like that. So to me, as long as I'm just getting by, dude, I don't have a great house to begin with. I don't live in a great neighborhood. It does not cost much for me to get by.
Yeah.
So I go out and I find any job I can, but putting myself in the shoes that you said, the $80,000.
Yeah. Any number, whatever it is.
If I was that person that valued that kind of life, I would do whatever it took to make that work. I would go find 2 jobs. I would do whatever it had until a job presented itself. The thing is, if you're always constantly looking, it's not going to be long before that $80,000 opportunity presents itself. If you are skilled for that job, you've gone to school for it, your education is strong, you're going to find it eventually. It's just for now, you might have to grind and, make 2 jobs together to present as one.
Yeah. And for the record, I agree with you.
Yeah.
But that's an argument I typically get because I'll have this conversation with people and I say, look, you've known this is coming. You can be applying for jobs, and the rebuttal I get is, well, maybe places should pay a living wage. I'm like, there's plenty of jobs hiring. You've known that unemployment wasn't going forever. And yeah, sure, you might go back to a job that you don't love, but at the end of the day, we all have to work. And there are places that are paying good amount. You're not going to go from being an executive somewhere to working at McDonald's. That's understandable, but you can find a job. And if you were working at McDonald's before, then there's plenty of places hiring that pay what McDonald's
you can go back to McDonald's and make double what you were making before you.
Right.
So that argument just doesn't hold true to me. I'm like, you've had 18 months at this point to find a job.
And that's also where you find people who abuse the system too. So you'll have people that have that $80,000 job, but they just don't want to work. So they're going to blend in with that crowd that says, well, we get treated like shit. We don't get paid enough and all that. They don't have to show anybody their paycheck. So they can blend in with that argument on social media, and they can be those same warriors that, stick up for rights and all that.
Right.
It's just a matter of, dude, you've got responsibilities. You're an adult. You know, every month, Jesse knows how much money he has to pay for his rent. You know how much money you have to pay for your electric, all this shit. You have to get it done. If you don't, your ass is going to be out on the street.
Yeah. Jesse?
No, you guys stole the words out of my mouth. I think that, you've had plenty of time to get all this stuff squared away. I think that, your example of the $70,000, $80,000 guy is something that you might see, but I also think that $70,000, $80,000 guy, 99% of the time is the person that's striving to find a way to make ends meet and makes his way to that job that is close enough or better than what he came from. The people that I know that have not worked through this are typically not the people that are
hungry to work
and hungry to make a living. They're the ones who know that they can make more money by living off of staying at home. And I don't necessarily fault those people, but I also don't want to hear you cry now.
Yeah.
I mean, you figured out the system and
you exploited it.
If I could have exploited the system and made a ton more money than I would have teaching, I probably would have done the same because it's free money and you're dumb. I mean, I think, I have no problem with that. I have no problem with you finding a way to make the system work for you. Make money by using somebody else's money. Do whatever you got to do. If you're not fucking doing something illegal, I have no problem with it.
The loopholes are plenty.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is no different than the people who are cheating out on their taxes and shit using loopholes. And I don't like them, but I'm not going to be mad at the little guy for doing it anytime. Because those are the people that need to do it if they're doing it.
Yeah.
But I'm also not going to give you any sympathy if it's not working out for you now when they cut those programs.
Right.
I haven't paid for my college tuition in almost a year now because it's been frozen. Hasn't been accruing interest, hasn't been doing anything, but I didn't pay any of it. I put that money in my pocket.
It's kind of nice that it's been frozen.
It's been great.
Yeah.
And when, that payment's coming up soon, it's going to be, I think it's next month or the month after that it'll be put back into place. and you're not going to hear me crying about it. I knew that going in. I could have paid on it while, all of this was going on. I decided to bank that money instead. And that's just what it is.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think there was sufficient notice to find an alternative, whether it was the rental, getting evicted notices or whatever, or finding a job. There's plenty of jobs hiring. That's the point. At the end of the day, it'd be one thing if we were cutting off the bonus, the extra unemployment bonus or whatever, and there was no jobs available and people were struggling because they couldn't get a job. You can walk into any place right now and they will hire you on the spot and they'll pay you a bonus to fucking start working.
I've never seen so many in my life that are available. Like our board at work is literally
insane.
Paper on top of paper on top of paper, like all these jobs.
My job will be a hiring freeze for like 2 days and they're like, never mind, we need people. And they raise it. Like we're always hiring. People are always hiring. There's plenty of places to find work. So people just got to get out there and do it. I think if anything, it spoiled people and it just heightened the laziness of people, and they were getting extra money and they're like, shit, we'll ride it out. And it created a monster. And now things were going real well. And I think now we're going to hit a shit show because all these things are going to end. And then it's just going to be a mess.
You're both right, because it's the loopholes that created the monster, and that's what you got now. That's why nobody wants to go back to work. Well, that's why a lot of those people don't want to go back to work, I'll say.
And a lot of people don't have the foresight to see what is going to come from all of this. Like the reason that we didn't buy a house is because that market is going to crash because of these people.
It's already going back down.
And when all of that shit happens, some people are going to be sitting there holding the bag. I ain't going to be one of them. Hopefully more people have the wherewithal to realize that this wasn't all just free money and that this is all chickens are going to come to roost and the shit's going to hit the fan.
The market was booming. People were selling and then they were trying to get houses appraised and the appraisals are coming back lower than the house was worth because now that boom is going down and then people are getting fucked.
And that was that quick of a turnaround.
It happened in 2 weeks. I mean, the market was crazy and now it is starting to go back down. Houses are going back to normal prices. Everything is not crazy anymore. It all comes around, and I just think people got to get out there and be willing to put it in. I mean, I never expected this shortage to go on for as long as it has. I mean, these places are still struggling. Every time I go somewhere, they're like, sorry, there's only 2 of us here. When there'd normally be like 10 people. Like that's just crazy.
Why I don't see that going anywhere soon is because it's that entitled generation where if you keep bailing them out, they're going to keep taking advantage of it. The honor system in this country, whether it be for the COVID test, whether it be for, all this other stuff, like we take advantage of it time and time again. So I don't understand why anybody has honor for our citizens anymore.
Yeah. I think hopefully that what they've stated is going to happen as far as cutting off the bonus, which I think started this month. I think July was the end of it. And then the way that they were going to change the need for unemployment approval, where now you actually have to show up for interviews and have proof that you're actually interviewing for a job and not just going there and grabbing it. If they stick that out, I think it makes a difference. I truly do.
It'll make a little difference.
Because I know so many people would just go store to store in a plaza and just ask for an application and say, hey, I applied.
Right.
But if you're not actually returning, if you get a job offer now and you're turning it down, supposedly you're going to be cut off from unemployment and they're going to really start to monitor.
That's the way it should be.
They need to do it.
Get off the tit.
Yeah, they need to do it. So anyhow, let's get social. This is a quick one for Jesse, which he's probably like, I already knew that.
I mean, we'll see. I'm excited.
So BuzzFeed did an article where like real chefs are sharing tips for amateur cooks, like things that they need to know or things that they should know when they're starting to get into cooking or they want to like.
I'll truthfully tell you if I already knew this.
They want to do more cooking. And some of these are probably lame, but they're just like tips. So one was salt, pepper, and acid are 3 of the most important components.
I did know
when
that.
cooking.
I would say fat is included in that, but that's fine.
This isn't a tip. It's kind of stupid, but clean as you go. If you're done with cutting, just as you use items,
mise en place, baby.
I knew that one.
Which is everything in its place.
Yeah, that's what I do. I hate fucking clutter. Hotter doesn't mean faster.
That's true.
Turning your burners up to 10 doesn't mean everything will cook. It just means you're gonna have a burn outside and raw inside.
I would say that you should use high heat for all searing of meats, though, at all times.
Absolutely.
I cook all my steaks full on blast heat.
Do you heat test your pots before you're cooking them?
I let my pots go until the oil starts to
sizzle.
Smoke.
That's how I go. Yeah.
Yep. So a lot of people don't. People will just turn the heat on and start cooking, and then your shit doesn't cook right.
No, if you don't put your meat down and hear up
Yep.
instantly, your pan is not hot enough.
Quick question: how do you guys like your steaks?
Medium rare.
Medium.
Yeah, medium too.
I could eat a rare steak also.
My
Like
dad-
I love steak.
My dad literally will tell them, put it in the pan the least amount of time you're allowed to and serve it to me.
Yeah.
It's he literally has said that, quote unquote.
I know a guy named Matt who, when my brother got married, we did like a cookout for his bachelor party. We were cooking steaks and everything. He got there after everybody, put his steak on last, took it off. There were still pieces of ice on it.
Oh,
man.
Disgusting, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, that's not good.
It was like that blue, I think is what they call it. It's less than rare. It's like they call it blue.
That's poison.
Nasty. Knowing this isn't on there, but it just goes with that heat thing. It's just knowing the right temperature settings for your food. So like obviously certain things you want to cook on, like eggs, you want to cook lower.
Right.
Otherwise those are just going to burn right away. They're not going to cook properly. Same with like pancakes. They need to be like a low heat and let it cook up, or meats that are going to be higher and stuff. But so heat ones. A little sweetness can elevate your dish. Honey or brown sugar. Honey or brown sugar to items. Don't use cooking wine if it's not worth drinking. Why put it in your food?
I did know that.
I haven't heard that one before.
Yeah, I've never understood that fad.
You don't cook with beer or wine that you wouldn't drink.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
that makes sense. I just never thought about it. I guess like it's a cooking wine and that's what you're going to use. But they say if you're going to use it, use a wine that you would drink.
I don't really like to cook with wine. I cook with beer more often than anything. But like, I'm not going to put like a Bud Light into my chili or something like that. I would much rather put like a deeper craft beer or something like that into it.
White trash chili.
Yeah, I ain't putting no Pabst in my fucking chili.
Sharpen your knife. They say more often people buy new knives just to replace the dullness of the current ones.
Yeah.
This is something that I know, but I have not actually done yet. I need to actually just get a whetstone and do it. I've been meaning to do it forever. I just haven't done it.
I mean, if you keep them sharp enough, though, I mean, isn't that fine enough? I mean,
you need to consistently sharpen them though, because you will notice. Like we'll buy new knives, and then you'll notice when they start to get dull. You'll go to cook or cut vegetables or something that you normally will just go right through, and you'll have to like saw to get through them. You know,
my favorite thing is the grape trick, where you cut off one of the bottoms and you set it down so it's standing itself up, and then you take your knife, and if you can just go straight through it without any pressure and it cuts through, that's how you know your knife is sharp enough.
Yeah, I guarantee you none of your knives are sharp enough.
Yeah,
mine definitely aren't.
Yeah, so that's a big one. What Jesse just said. How did you say? Mise en place.
Mise en place.
Which is French for cooking phrase that means everything should be arranged and put in its place before cooking the meal.
Yep.
If you eat too many chilies, they actually will lose their heat.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Like you get used to it?
I guess I'm assuming that's what they mean by it. But
I wonder if that means over time or not.
Yeah. Let your meat rest after cooking. The juices will move around and it'll taste better. Which
we still talking about food.
I think most people know that. I like these. Instead of frying an egg on high heat and flipping it several times, you can just fry it on low heat with a lid and it'll cook both sides. I did not know that one.
I feel like you're not going to get the one side crispy though.
I don't know.
BuzzFeed doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about sometimes.
These are chefs. This isn't BuzzFeed.
Yeah, but who's the chef?
Is it a
BuzzFeed
Favreau.
chef?
John Favreau.
John Favreau's not a fucking chef.
It has the link for each individual one.
I don't fully agree with that one.
Yeah, I've never tried that one.
I can't believe you said John Favreau wasn't a chef. How dare you?
Have you tried this one? Drinking a small amount of olive oil will cleanse your palate and allow you to really taste what you're cooking.
Ooh.
I have heard that before. I don't think I've ever done. I've drank olive oil, but not for that reason.
Oh.
I just really like olive oil.
This is one that I just started doing. Cutting your chicken breast actually in half. They cook better and taste better. I tried it recently. If you saw that post Ashley made,
butterflying it,
she said it was the best chicken she ever had. It was the first time I did that.
So you do it while it's in the pan?
No, so when you get your chicken breast out, they're usually real thick. I'll just cut them in half and like one becomes two at that point.
Oh, because it can get in there and
it's
simmer.
So much. Yeah, because you have such a thick piece. Normally they get real dry because it takes so long to cook chicken. So when it's thinner, more like a fryer, like the chicken fryers you can buy.
Yeah. Chicken, for whatever reason, I have never made a dry chicken in my life.
Yeah.
Chicken's one thing that I'm great at cooking.
Got to be moist.
And I cook it under. So like it's supposed to be 160, I believe, for like safety. I cook it to like 155, 150, and then I let it just come up when it rests, and then it comes out exactly at 160, and it's never overcooked. So
yeah.
Was that
chicken's one you got to be careful about though?
I make some bomb ass chicken.
That wasn't breaded chicken, right? It was just chicken breast, like plain chicken breast.
Yeah, like if you just buy raw chicken breasts, you know, like they're so thick. They just take a long time to cook.
I'm getting Rossissi's tonight.
Yeah, you ordering right now? Hurry up.
I think that they're closed on Mondays.
Yeah, fuck. There's more, but I don't need to read them all. Any tips or anything that you guys have for like cooking that you like, something you follow that you learned that you find to be really important?
Two things that I think are really, really important. Both have to do with salt. One is whenever you're cooking
your pasta,
not just salting it, but it needs to be as salty as the ocean. Like people are always just like, oh yeah, I put a lot of salt in.
A pinch doesn't count.
No, you need to really dump a lot of salt in there. I don't think you can over salt it personally.
Yeah.
If it dissolves in the water, I think that it's good.
Yep.
Same thing goes with steaks or pork chops, any type of thick meat. If it's an inch thick or not, like there should be a layer of salt on the top.
Yep.
And let that sit. It will absorb in and it will go all the way through. Something else that I've been doing lately, a lot more that I've always known about, but I've been actually applying, is brining.
Oh yeah.
And doing so over the course of a day, especially with things like chicken that will penetrate all the way through that meat and you'll get delicious meat all the way through. It won't just be like seasoned skin.
Yeah.
So those I think would be the three things for me.
I used to do chicken breasts in a Ziploc bag with like orange juice, Italian dressing, and like seasonings, and leave it
fantastic.
It's amazing for like a full day.
Yeah.
You can't just leave it in the fridge for 10 minutes. Like you got to let it just soak in there and then grill that. It's so fucking good.
On the same note though, if you forget about that chicken and you do it for 2 or 3 days, that shit will come out super rubbery or mushy and disgusting. So you have to make sure you monitor how long you do it.
Overnight, or like if you're cooking in the day, put it in the morning and then cook it when it's ready. But like it has to be extended periods of time. People think they're going to like marinate their chicken while they're prepping and it's going to be ready. It's not. You're not going to taste any of that. Chris, anything that you do cook? Do you have any like things that you like follow?
Mine's just practical and silly, but like when I make pie crusts, like I always massage the dough out. Like I mean I like give it a straight up massage when I'm doing it, and I find out that that kind of love translates well to the dish itself. Yeah. So I always kind of I'll knead it or whatever they call that, just
massage it.
Yeah.
Give it some love.
Yep.
To piggyback off of that, I know of farmers who do like blue ribbon contests for their vegetables and stuff, who will sing and say positive things to their vegetables. I've found like there have been actual scientific studies. They don't know why, but it does work.
It's weird.
So like the whole thought process behind like cooking with love, I do think is like a legitimate thing. If you really do care about it,
baby.
Things do taste better whenever you do that.
Neat.
Wonder how you taste down my throat.
Whoa.
You look sort of like a baby.
I'm gonna eat you. That's all I have for Let's Get Social. And that leaves Chris for curtain call or for the closing call.
Jerk.
What's it called?
Well, no, the jerk is the open.
What do you call this one?
Curtain call, I guess. Yeah.
Curtain call.
Oh my God.
Boom, boom.
My God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
Wait.
Everybody calm down!
Two teams assemble!
Christopher, the film freak, Kessinger, 1,700 reviews. Almost there?
Almost. We're 13 away.
13 away. How many movies or reviews are you away from meeting your goal?
What's my... Oh, one.
One movie. How many comments?
It can be anywhere between 1 and 10 at this point. We have reviews that are at 9.
Well, I mean, but like, do you have one that's real on the brink? Like one more comment's going to send it over?
Yeah, there's 8 reviews on there that have 9. I can't tell you which one.
I need to know. I'm making it happen while we're recording.
I can't tell you which
show.
one. But there's like Green Knight is somewhat close.
All right, Green Knight it is.
But yeah.
What's going on in Hollywood Report, sir?
First of all, I know I say this every week. That match did not happen at WrestleMania 6.
I know, dude. Fucking idiots. And it's so weird because some of these have the date and some of them don't have the date. I don't understand what they did.
Ticket for getting fucking clothes from China.
Dude, I love it. It's from Target, and I think it's a collector's edition just because they fucked up.
Well, I see that all the time at Target, but it doesn't have the 6 on it. Like it just says WrestleMania on
There's
it.
some that have it, the 6, and some that don't. And I'll go back one week and they don't have them, and then go back another. They're still making them like this because there's new ones coming. I bought
It's going to be worth like
$1
million, like that Luke Skywalker with the green saber that only like 4 were accidentally made.
Wrestling figures, I screwed myself bad because, man, I used to have hundreds of those things and I took them out of the package and I would do this to them and all that shit.
Did you learn nothing from the 40-year-old virgin?
I learned nothing. When I was 4 years old and that movie was still like 25 years from coming out. Let's talk a little bit Hollywood, gentlemen. first of all, your girl, Scarlett Johansson, suing Walt Disney Company for bringing Black Widow to streaming on the week after, I should say, that it dropped in theaters.
That greedy SOB.
So let me explain why this is a problem for this celebrity and one more to follow. So basically the actor or actress, they get a cut of the box office gate. So the gate is determined by everything that is grossed in the theaters, and the theaters only. Once it hits streaming, that is purely a Walt Disney or production company basis, and the actor or actress has no grounds for argument on that ground, I guess you could say. So
Ground on that ground.
so basically Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney because it caused Black Widow to drop 41% from week 1 to week 2.
Yeah.
Just from bringing this to streaming. So it took money out of her pocket.
Has anybody looked at the contract? Do we know the deets?
Has not been released.
Do we
yet.
know if they're getting money from the streaming dollar amount? Are they actually losing money, or do they know if they're actually losing money?
Scarlett says she was not under the impression that this was supposed to drop on streaming until a month after, 30 days exactly.
And neither was Kevin Feige.
Yeah, and that's the next one I was going to say is Kevin Feige has.
Let's be real. That's the one that really matters.
That is the one that big time matters. So you can afford to lose a Scarlett Johansson, no disrespect, but Kevin Feige is the one that created all of this. So the MCU, all of this would be nothing without that man's vision. So basically, if he's backing Scarlett Johansson, you are in some deep waters here.
He's pissed about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you heard about the third person, but Emma Stone.
I was just that's what I was going to say too. I said Feige first just because it transitioned from one to the other, but yeah, Emma Stone, Cruella herself also has said that she does not support it
around.
Yeah, that Cruella was also dropped prematurely into streaming. And
do you really think that none of this discussion is had? Like, okay, so the movie's finished, whatever it is. Black Widow had to have finished a while ago, right? We just haven't released it because of
it's
COVID.
like a year.
Its production was at the end of last winter. It was like 2020
so
winter.
Disney's part in it was what? The production company?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So then they're at that point. So when a production company finishes a movie, what ultimately becomes the next step as far as decision making in when the movie's released, who it's released to,
how they're marketed,
who decides that? Do we know?
Well, Disney. Disney's the one that.
So at that point, it's ultimately their decision on what happens with that movie. Do they normally have to run it by somebody?
Well, the problem is though, when you have a contract with an actor or actress, and the actor and actress says this is one of their stipulations that they get, we'll say 35% of the gate cut from everything made at the box office. So now, if you've alienated that decision, that compromise between two sides, now you are binding that contract. You are breaking that contract, and that is a breach of trust as well. And any production company can get in trouble for that. Disney has loads of money. This should be no problem if they lose this case, but it's going to hurt more creatively for them than anything.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I don't think that they lose this case just because Disney has the greatest lawyers in the world.
Oh yeah.
They win fucking everything. They've sued local movie theaters over not having enough standees out in their theater. They are ruthless.
I was at your theater yesterday.
Disney is the worst.
Mm-hmm.
They're fucking awful to deal with. Their representatives are dicks. They are Nazis when it comes to that type of stuff.
I agree with this to an extent, but I think to your point, I think they're going to find something. I think that they're going to.
The problem, like Chris said, is not necessarily coming from this case. They could lose this case and have to give Scarlett Johansson another $100 million, and it doesn't mean anything to them.
With Feige.
The problem is if they do win this case, but then they set the precedent of, well, we're going to do whatever we want with this. You are not going to get people that are going to sign on to long-term deals, which apparently they're not doing anymore. They're going to be paying people as they go or something. That was like a story that came out a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But nobody's like Tom Holland. Let's just use Tom Holland as an example. He's going to be Spider-Man, the biggest MCU property that ever existed in the history of Marvel. He's not going to be the person. He's going to have an agent going over every single letter of this shit. And now they're going to lose money off of their streaming and everything else because they tried to screw over Scarlett. Whether they win or not, whether they were right or not, whether they did anything illegal or not, they have now screwed themselves, and they have made a negative viewment, not from just the public, but from also their own set of actors where that wasn't there before.
I guess where I struggle with it is I get if they broke some kind of contractual agreement, but on the other side of that is nobody knew COVID was going to happen. They kept pushing it back in hopes of making, obviously to make themselves the money, which then in turn makes the actors and actresses money. But they kept pushing it back to be able to make a financial gain. If they only released it to theater, do we really believe that box office ticket sales would have been in abundance more than releasing it to digital?
And abundance is what you can argue as abundance is what I could argue is not abundance. So to me, like, I don't know if abundance is
realistically, do you think that they would make 100 million more, like 10 million? I mean,
I think even 10 million more though.
Still aren't going to the theater.
The thing is, we'll never know because you went from week 1 to week 2 and you go, okay, now I'm dropping it on Disney Plus, and now we'll never know. That's why. So the whole argument that we talked about on the show about a month ago when Black Widow dropped 41% in 1 week, and we were saying, well, yeah, it's because it wasn't that great of a movie or blah, 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 and all that. Yeah. No, it was really because these bastards who decided to get it out on their streaming service and wanted to charge $30 a pop for it.
Yeah. 41% for a Marvel movie is unprecedented. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got to think if you go, typically it should have been they opened up, they made $20 million opening weekend, and then the next weekend make 14.
Yeah.
Like you're gradually going to start decreasing, but
unless you're Black Panther
or Endgame or something like that, where it carries on forever. But like the vast majority will gradually decrease as that goes on. And then you open up a streaming service to open up to the box office that they did. Mm-hmm. Black Widow did way better than anybody expected at the box office. And for them to go on and be like, well, we're going to just fucking stream. I think that was them going, hey, we could save 10% for the next coming weeks. Do I think that it was a, back alley in the dark deal where they did something like that? Maybe not, but they certainly didn't think this through.
I think, because that's my issue. I think Disney's a big enough company that they know the importance of the properties they have. Marvel's vested in Disney is vested in Marvel. But Disney is building whole worlds around Marvel. So I don't think they want to screw this up.
But she's also dead. No. So if you're going to screw somebody, Scarlett's the perfect target.
I mean, like what you guys have said with Feige. Like, you've pissed Feige off. You've invested literally creating a world at your theme parks for Marvel.
And he's still working for them as we speak.
Yeah, you're not going to lose that, and then these are meaningless. No one's going to fucking care.
Yeah.
So I guess my thing is, I think overall the movie made Disney more money by allowing it to go to streaming right away, because I think the people like us who all saw it in theater were seeing it regardless. Obviously, we could have streamed it and we didn't.
Yeah.
The people that really cared went to the theater anyways. I think they gained viewers on it for the person that maybe wasn't going to go, or the family that wasn't going to go to the theater and they could just watch it at home. Yeah. The issue with it is that they need to make it right with the funds that they received through the streaming.
So
that's where, is that in the contract? Are they actually going to take that into account now or in the future to pay out?
Yeah.
Where, okay, if they get, I don't know, if ScarJo gets 0.5% of box office sales, are they going to implement, she's going to get 0.5% of the digital streaming? That I think is fair. I don't think at that point you're hurting anyone other than the movie theaters, which we all disagree with. But financially, if you pay out equal amount, the streaming amount, dollar amount in the box office to the actors, like you're doing anyways, that should be fair.
It needs to be in print ultimately. That's the reason why I'm on Scarlett and Emma Stone's side when it comes to this debate, because to me it's like, and I want to get back to something you said too in a second, but to me it's like, if it's not in writing, it to me that is a violation of a contract. So if you haven't stated that this is what we're going to do in week 2 to begin with, and whether you're on board or not, this is what's going to happen, then you violated, and you owe these guys, these actors, for their hard work. You've literally taken money off of them. And look, we understand they're all rich. We get it. Anybody can say, oh, it's greedy celebrities who are asking for more money and all that. But look, it's their project. It's their work. If I went to work and work told me, well, we're going to cut your pay in half this week and all that, I go, fuck you. And I'm taking a walk.
Well, I don't want to hear anything about how rich they are either, because Disney's like a $40 billion company. They don't need the fucking extra
nobody richer.
$50 million.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Here's my thing. If it doesn't mention streaming whatsoever in the contract, are they in the wrong? If it doesn't say it was going to streaming, or it doesn't mention the fact that it wasn't going to streaming, are they in the wrong?
Yeah.
Do we say
Disney's
they're wrong?
Technically or morally?
Technically.
I would say no, technically.
Yeah.
But everybody knows they're a piece of shit, and that sends a bad foundation moving forward.
I mean,
I agree. I'm not saying it doesn't hurt them long run, but if it doesn't say anything in there that we're not going to release it to streaming, we know streaming's been a thing. It's been a thing longer than last year. So unless it in the contract says that this movie will not go to streaming for 30 days,
You
they're
have-
not going to lose.
You have countless stories like that, though, in the past. Like you've got Mark Zuckerberg, who screwed out his partner
Absolutely.
and Facebook.
Yep.
If this podcast, if we
I'm
started
coming for
making money,
everything.
yeah. If we start making money off the podcast, and you were like, okay, guys, like you guys are my co-hosts, I'm going to give you both 25%. But since I started it and I did all the funding, I'm going to make 50. And we all go, hey man, that's cool. Like we're good with that. But then all of a sudden you start posting everything on YouTube and we're only getting 25% off the podcast and the YouTube takes off and you keep all of the YouTube revenue. You're still a fucking asshole.
Mm-hmm.
You're just not going to lose to us in court, but you're a dick.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed.
Sorry, my Prada suit was at the cleaners with my fuck you flip flops.
That's
so good.
That's where the it's moral versus business. They're not going to lose. I don't foresee them losing much on this. They need to make it right for long term, for their business and for what they're going to make in the future.
Future actors joining jobs, with the MCU.
It's interesting. It's just those two.
Well, right now it's those two. So they've asked other actors. I wanted to bring something back with what Jesse said. So, you were pretty confident that Disney was going to win this no matter what. And I kind of agree with you on that. But if there's a precedent set legally by something like this, I almost think the courts have to abide by that precedent. And what that precedent is I did some digging. This actually happened back in 2019. Gerard Butler, star of Angel Has Fallen, sued Universal, their production company, for bringing it to streaming 1 month after it happened because he thought the same thing, that they took money out of his pocket too. Now that's 30 days after that happened, and he won that case.
No shit.
This is 1 week after this has happened. I don't understand how Disney would win this case.
Yeah. It's going to be tough.
I don't see it.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be what's in the wording.
He got $10 million, by the way.
Streaming
that's
also,
surprising.
when that was going on, was a lot less prevalent than it is now.
Oh, very much.
So I think that makes it, I think so much of it is streaming now. And the other thing is this happening, or why isn't this happening with HBO or Netflix when they're like HBO Go or Max, when they released Space Jam the day of?
Well, there was that controversy though. Remember that's why Denis Villeneuve of Dune, the director of Dune.
Yeah.
He says we are not dropping this on HBO, like under no circumstances. So he fought to keep that in theaters because of that reason alone.
I'm just curious why we haven't heard any actors from these direct to theater or same day theater to HBO.
That might have been
are
something that
coming
was
out.
distinctly put into their contract, though. Also,
Well, and we're talking the MCU, okay, a big money cash cow compared to like No Sudden Move, a Don Cheadle shoot 'em up gangster film,
right?
I mean, there's times where you go, look, we probably would have made a cash cow on this. Let's fight for this. And there's other times where you go, fuck it, man. I got 3 more films coming out this month.
Who do you think was the whistleblower, Emma or Scarlett?
Scarlett.
You think she's the one that
She's
started
always
it?
one to fight for those rights, and that's what kind of person she is. I'm not condemning her. I said that I'm proud of her. I'm actually on her side. But yeah.
I don't care either way, honestly. It don't matter. It's not hurting me any. It's not making me any money. No. Let them duke it out. I'm not gonna not like Disney because of it. I'm still gonna see every fucking movie they put out. But good for her for standing up, and hopefully maybe something happens of it, and going forward, it makes a difference.
I agree.
All that could benefit, the only way we can benefit from this is if by doing this, it pushes streaming going out so quickly, and then maybe it'll help the theaters. That's the only benefit I will find in it. But.
So allegedly, it made $158 million at the box office, but it made another $60 million at home purchases.
Damn,
Black
Widow
Widow?
did 30 a pop. Yeah, I mean,
see, that's what I was
60
saying.
million. So you're
they
looking
gained
at
a lot of viewership by having that on streaming.
Look,
just under 2/3 of the money was box office, but
we've discussed why streaming is a good option for families and all that, and why it's a bad option for people like me.
Exactly.
So look, I totally get it from Disney's perspective. All I'm saying is, for future reference, when you're dealing with a Tom Holland or something like that, you go, look, here's the contract. We're going to drop this 2 weeks after this. If you're on board, cool. If not, whatever, there's the door.
Now that Jesse's got some hard factual numbers, and we got to take bias out of it, how much do you think that flops if it doesn't go to streaming for a month?
How much
do you think that number flops?
I don't think it flops. I think that if you leave it in theaters for another month, you get maybe 48 of that.
Yeah.
And then you go to streaming and you make up another 30.
So you're thinking half of it goes to...
I think
50% more of it goes to
I think more
theaters.
money comes from keeping it in the theaters.
She gets a bigger
because
purse.
people are going to sit there and wait.
No, that's what I was asking.
Yeah.
Do you think it flops to the point of like how much of that streaming amount?
I don't think you make 60
moves
more.
Yeah.
I think you make 48. But
that's a big number, though. You're saying
$12 million.
You're saying 65% of that moves into the theater pocket, and that doesn't leave much for streaming. I don't think it goes up that much.
I think it's probably about 50% is what I would say. Yeah, that's probably a fair enough number. So what was it, 60? So maybe 30.
Yeah. I would think, I honestly say probably 20, 25.
Yeah.
I just don't I don't think that many people are going to the theaters as we want or hope them to be. You know, that's the sad part. I think it's still, well, you've been going. I mean, what does it look like?
Well, for Jungle Cruise, it was packed.
Yeah.
I'll say that. But for like Green Knight, which we'll talk in a minute, there was me and one other guy.
Did Jungle Cruise come out on streaming?
Yes. HBO Friday was when it hit.
Didn't it hit Disney Plus?
Oh, which one was it?
Because Jungle Cruise is Disney, right?
But I think it's Warner Brothers.
Doesn't that go right to Disney?
I think it's HBO.
Oh,
yeah.
So is The Rock going to come out and fucking?
They asked him, and he had
people's elbow.
There's actually an article. Google that. There's actually an article of it. He said, "No, I will not."
Yeah. Thank you. Good for you, Rock.
Yeah, because The Rock already made like $400 million off of last year
in like
alone.
the next 2 days coming out.
See,
$600 million for Fast 9 so far, by the way.
So it's not about the principle.
$600 million.
He's not in that one, but
god awful.
The Rock's
Did you see it?
No, I just knew it was god awful when I saw the trailer.
Let's transition.
Right,
Speaking of standing up for your rights, Peter Safran, the producer of Aquaman 2, has standed firm on his belief that Amber Heard will be a part of Aquaman 2, despite 1.5 million people signing a petition on change.org to have her removed. Guys, do you support or do not support this claim?
No, if she was the main character, maybe, but she's just this fucking second, like she's a background character.
Mm-hmm.
She's a sidekick that nobody really gave a fuck other than the fact that she was the hot chick. Why would you go against the public who clearly have a justified reason?
This was my argument
for not wanting this woman. It's not like she's like, it's not like she fucking wore a fur coat and people are pissed on some stupid like cancel culture bullshit. Like she legitimately set up one of America's acting sweethearts who everybody loves to make them think that he was physically abusing her and tried to have him not only dismissed from Hollywood, but put in jail. And you're going to say, well, I just want to keep things the same and have her in there. So we're just going to do it and fuck all you people. That's stupid as fuck. Your movie wasn't that good to begin with the first one. So it's going to fucking bomb this time. I'm not going to fucking see it.
Okay.
And it ain't because of Amber Heard. It's because the movie fucking sucks. But this is a cherry on top of it.
That's what I was going to ask. If you loved the first one, would you not go because of this? Honestly, would you not go because of this?
I don't personally give a shit about Johnny.
Would you go?
No, I would probably go.
Exactly. I think all these bullshitters online want to cause a scene, and they're going to fucking still go see the movie.
I don't
care if she's in it or not. I really could give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Johnny Depp, if they still cast him in movies, I would have still went. We've talked about it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Just like with football, we'll watch it full of rapists and murderers, and we don't care because it's for entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Like Amber Heard or not, if you love the movie and they still cast her in it, you would.
There is a risk though, too.
There's people. There's
1.5 million people though.
That's a lot of people.
Like you can't say every single one of them is going to go see the movie.
I would say 70% of them still go.
There will be a viral campaign before this movie comes out of people saying not to go and see it and bashing and putting all of her information out there. And you will see repercussions.
It's going to be worse for her. She'd be better off walking away because of the heat. But for them, I think people still go see it.
I mean, critics online trashed that Stand, a remake that they dropped in the spring of this year.
Yeah.
And I mean, I understand why it was garbage, but like on a side note, they trashed it because of her mainly. Like they were saying this is bullshit, that she was cast any major role in any production she should not be a part of and all this. I think that's going to follow her everywhere she goes in every project.
I want to know what the numbers for the first one are and compare them to this one and see if there's really any drastic change. There's going to be a little within reason. We have to take into account COVID.
It's a sequel,
but we got to see if it's 50% less. Is it just 10% less? I want to know if people really don't go. I think people don't go, but it's not going to be a large amount.
I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Wow.
What?
Take a guess what the fucking box office was total for Aquaman.
120.
I don't know. 175.
No.
Less?
Way more.
Oh, shit.
Well, I mean, foreign markets. That's why I was saying like
this is total $1.148 billion.
I mean, dude, it's superhero. And
okay, so let's see what
Asian markets love that. They love action films.
What amount do you think typically sequels decrease? What do you think? What do you think is realistic for that? Okay, it made 1.2 on the first one. This is a sequel. You think it makes 75% of that. Typically,
I think it's different because it's a superhero though. Like you don't look at the sequels. Like Iron Man 2
sequel, it's just
probably made more than Iron Man, just because it's the continuation.
Scream
of the
2
story.
didn't make as much.
Okay,
as
so
Scream.
let's leave the same byline and see what the second one makes.
I would bet that the second one is going to make
what's US? Is it
$750 million?
Does that show US?
That's just total. I think
it doesn't show US on there.
Domestic.
You think it's going to take that big of a hit? $500,000?
Yeah,
I can see about. I'll go 8. Yeah, 800. Yeah.
And you're thinking that that's because of Amber Heard or being a sequel?
I think a little bit of both, to be honest. Because I think even out of the 1.5, even if it's, let's say 40% are going to stick to their guns and say, I'm not going to see the movie. Yeah. That's still going to translate at $12 a pop. You know,
is this a big
Aquaman
more
made
US
$335 million domestic and he made 813 international.
Okay. So 335 US. That's a more realistic expectation.
Yeah.
I'm saying the second one does 300.
I think that the biggest hit will be domestic. I think it's going to make 150.
Really?
I think international, it's not going to be as big of a deal. I think it's going to be slammed here.
But that sucks because it wasn't a great movie. So it's hard because the first one sucks. People being like, go see the second.
I thought it was just an okay movie. I didn't think
it was so cheesy.
Yeah. Like there was stuff in it that I liked, but then by the end I was like, this is fucking I've never watched it since.
It's not as good as Wonder Woman, the first one, not the second. It's not as good as the first Wonder Woman. It's not as good as Shazam. Yeah, it's not.
The characters just looked amateur.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said that before about DC. Like like the underwater scenes and like the people, they just looked so tacky to me. It looked awful.
There were a couple of things on there too, like when he went down with the flare and the things were coming after him. I was like, that kind of reminds me of Godzilla.
Harry Potter.
Like
when you have a movie that's 95% computer generated, you lose some of that essence, like the naturalistic essence of it and the humanity of it.
Yeah. And those always stand up for about 2 years before CGI surpasses the ability to do some shit like that.
Constant evolution in CG. Other news, we got a couple of homophobic celebrities in discussion on Twitter this week. The first one is rapper DaBaby. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him.
DaBaby?
Yeah.
He's a Hollywood homophobe?
Yes. So a couple weeks ago at a concert, Big Benefit, he talked about if you didn't show up today with HIV, AIDS, any of them deadly sexually transmitted diseases that'll make you die in 2-3 weeks, put your cell phone light up. So basically the gay
if you don't have AIDS.
Yeah.
Wow.
So basically, as you can understand, the homosexual crowd were very disappointed at this. And yeah, they were. So basically because of this, he got kicked off of Lollapalooza, which was the biggest act of the year. And
is this guy any good?
I mean, I heard him on Dua Lipa's track, that Levitating song, which was my track of the year last year. It wasn't him. The reason the song was good.
He's apologized. So
yes.
So that means a lot.
He has apologized
banned from everything. It means so much.
But yeah, he's in the midst of getting canceled. You think this one's legit, guys, as far as his cancellation? I mean, those are some pretty serious words.
You can't come out and say stuff like that now and expect no backlash, regardless if you believe it or not. Mm-hmm. You just got to know better. If you're in the spotlight, you can't come out and say stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like why? Well, that's my thing. Like why? What made him think like I'm gonna come out and bash some people with AIDS today? Like, the fuck are you doing? Like
it's silly. What's the relevance of that?
I think it's an
put
ego
your
thing.
Flashlight up if you don't have AIDS.
He figures his fans will love anything that he says and they'll eat it up and all that. But in this kind of culture, you can't say that kind of thing, man. Also, another parallel to that, Matt Damon this week with an interview with the Hollywood Insider put his foot in his mouth. He was quoted as saying, up until last month, he had continued saying the term faggot when it came to describing gays and gay relations.
Wow.
So
he is from Boston.
And he said it took his daughter to call him on that to change that from him. He's coming under fire on Twitter right now. He has also apologized for this. But with a new movie coming out this week, it's, obviously his name's going to be in the tabloids as it is.
So with this one, it's a little bit different for me because he was coming out and saying that up until a month ago, I said this and I changed my ways.
Mm-hmm.
So like, can you really be mad at it? Like he was admitting that he was ignorant and wrong.
But why people are making a big deal of it is because it took his daughter to tell him that it was wrong for him to understand that the term faggot is wrong.
I mean, that's all fine and good, but everybody has their moment. Like I was super homophobic in school. I called kids faggots all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said all types of shit. It wasn't until I had a gay friend
show next week.
Yeah. Like it wasn't until I had a gay friend that I worked with at the theater though, that
It's not until
it
you
was
really personally
different.
see how it impacts someone.
And even then, she was a girl, so it was easier to accept a lesbian than it was like a gay guy. Like it took me I don't know when that change happened, but I can tell you it was long after that I would have been comfortable sharing like quality time with a gay man.
Yeah.
Like now it's like whatever, but I'd say even 5-6 years ago, I probably wouldn't have felt that comfortable doing it. I calling them faggots? No, but like there's a change that happens in your life and the structures. I can't blame him really for that as much.
You get to a point where I think for a lot of that stuff, you always kind of know, like, okay, saying faggot isn't like it's wrong. I shouldn't say that, but it doesn't affect you. And it's not until you have that interaction with maybe a gay person and someone calls them that and you realize, and then you feel that guilt about it. Okay, this really is wrong. And there is people on the other side of it that it affects. That's your moment. And for him, maybe his daughter is at the age now where she understands it enough to realize that him saying it is wrong.
She's a teenager.
And her bringing it out to him and saying, well, shit, like that was his moment. So I think it was, I don't know if it was putting his foot in the mouth. Like, I think he's smart enough to know what he said, but I think it's kind of cool for him to come out and say, look, I realize this is wrong now. I've been doing this and now I'm going to change it. He's going to get heat for it, but I mean, he didn't have to say it and he probably would have been fine, but he found a reason that he felt the need to say it. So
you just hit on what I was about to say. So for me, this isn't as serious as DeBaby's situation. I feel like that's a lot hotter water than this is. For me though, I don't understand why you even have to bring this up. This reminds me a lot of the Liam Neeson story that came out like 3 years ago, where he talked about, he got into a fight with a black guy on the streets or something. I think a black guy tried to rob him or something, and he called him the N-word there on the street. And he brought that up in the middle of an interview. And I was like, why in this cancel culture where everybody's just itching for a reason to cancel you and pull the trigger, why would you give them that ammo?
What was the context that Damon brought it up? What was going on that he mentioned this? Do you know?
No, I don't know that. I know it was press for Stillwater, obviously the movie that dropped this week for him, but it has no relevance to that movie whatsoever. There's not gay characters in the movie or anything.
It's just
like
weird
that.
to just be an interview and just say that. Like, what sparked him?
I said, like, why even bring that up?
I'm kind of surprised that was even a thing for him though, because like he seems to be like a very liberal, like
I would think so.
Like he's almost always entirely leftist when it comes to his views. Like he's very pro teacher, he's very pro union, he's very pro all of these rights and stuff. Like that surprises me. That
think about what you said though. That word isn't always political. And it's not even always gay. I know it's used as a gay derogatory term, but think about how many times back in the day you were hanging with your friends and, just because a guy was acting stupid or something, you go, oh, you fag or something like that.
To that point though, I feel like, because I'm guilty. I have said both.
I have
to say you're gay.
I am 100%.
I used to
I still say stuff is gay.
I don't say the N word, but I have said that fag word several times.
But now, like I would never say fag or faggot. I would never say that's fucking gay. I would never say you're a fucking faggot. I would never use that word. And it just like now as an adult, it seems so dirty.
Yeah.
Like gay, I feel like is more lenient because I think people say it in like with
you're
no
gay or
context
like
whatsoever to that. But it's still wrong. And we know that. But like, I don't know, faggot just seems so much more like violent and just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there's a big difference.
I don't think there's any point in bringing it up.
But I can't, like, I could never see myself saying faggot now. I could never feel okay saying that.
Well, my sister's gay, so like to me that would be slapping her in the face.
It's just wild. I don't know, man.
Last thing this week, I wanted to talk. I know this won't involve you as much, obviously. Jesse and I got a chance to see The Green Knight, which was a film from A24 that we were both highly anticipating.
Fucking thing sucks.
Okay. So spoilers on that. We both got a chance to see it and we both have diversely different feelings toward this movie. I'm going to let Jesse start off what he liked, what he didn't like about the film, and what he thinks could have used improvement to make his grade a little higher.
Yeah. For the record, I don't think that it sucks. I think it's worth seeing. But okay, so I'll start with things that I liked. It's beautiful. It's very well shot.
Is it worth spending money to see? There's a difference between
totally depends on what type of moviegoer you are. If you're a very casual moviegoer, you are not going to see this movie and enjoy it.
I'm going to say for you, no.
Yeah, you don't go see it. You're not going to fucking like it. It's a beautiful movie in terms of how it looks, how it's shot. The acting is fantastic. The visuals are fantastic. Even parts of the story are great. I think that overall, the first half of the movie I was really invested in. My problems with this movie are...
Right up to where, for the record? You don't have to spoil it, but just give me some kind of indication.
I would say when he meets the ghost.
Okay.
At the end of that is probably where it started to lose me.
Okay. That's where I thought there were some scenes that went on a little too long for my taste.
Yeah.
Yep.
I could have gone without the giants, which are in the trailer. I could have gone without the couple that he meets. I know that it's important to the poem, but it didn't seem like it hit the same way, which kind of leads into my problems with it. So I looked into it ahead of time. I didn't know anything about it. I thought that it just looked great. Didn't even know it was a King Arthur story or a King Arthur universe, I guess, because it's not technically about King Arthur, which is rare with his stories, I guess.
His sister's in it, though.
Yeah. And he's in it briefly.
Yeah.
But I guess traditionally, most of King Arthur's stories center solely around him, and he is very rarely even mentioned. In the movie, they never come right out and say that he's King Arthur. Nope. If you're not aware enough to say, oh, that's a round table full of knights, I think this is King Arthur, you would not know.
I think that's kind of cool because it keeps the attention where it should be on Gaiwan and
right, because it's his story.
Yeah.
My problem comes from going into this. I didn't read the poem at all. I had read a synopsis once to get an idea of what happened, but I didn't really dive into it. I never read the actual poem.
It's a long poem.
I just wanted to be excited and see a good movie. There were things in it that they did intentionally that I didn't feel reflected what the message was of the poem. Reading it after the fact. And it didn't seem to make sense without any reference to anything ahead of time. There was some stuff that I thought I might be able to dig really hard and look at this, or it was something that seemed so simple that I was like, there's no way that this is what they're going for with this grand scale.
Grandiose, yeah.
Yeah, like it's so beautifully shot. It's so whatever. They meticulously place all these things. They've done all of this stuff. They've put this great adventure together. There's no way that it's something this simple. So I'm like, either they completely missed the mark and they did this for no reason, which would have been the simple idea, or there's some grand, crazy thing coming from this director that he thinks that people are understanding that most are not. Now, granted, you came up with some things in your review that I didn't think about.
That's what I was going to ask. If was my thing the circumstance where you went, oh, that can't be what it's about. It can't be that light.
No, I think that...
Because those are pretty big themes.
Yeah, like no, for me it was my idea about the simple thing that I thought that it was just the fact that he wanted a grand life as a knight, and at the end he realized that that wasn't all that mattered. Everything
that comes with knight, the heroism,
the life, the fame, the power, the things that come with it, that he thought that he believed when he spoiler, when he kind of sees that at the end of it all.
I thought that at first act. I thought that's what this movie was.
And I was like, I'm like, that's a fucking stupid idea.
Yeah.
Like that's we did all of this for that. Yeah. It's just like, and I was really disappointed by that. The stuff that you came up with, I felt like was more solid. I could believe that. But even after you said it, I was like, I could see it. But man, do I feel like I got to grasp at some things to get that, because you talked about heroism and honor and knightlyhood and all of these things.
Well, it's the 5 pinnacles. They mention it in the movie. So like that pentagram that they show, it's the 5 pinnacles of knighthood. And I can't remember all of them right now, but it's like honor, all the shit. Because everyone...
And that's in the poem.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, and when I read the poem afterwards, the poem is very much about that. It's about him failing after failing after failing and trying to do these things, but he's not.
Actually, in the poem, he succeeds at most of them.
Right. Yes.
In the movie, he fails at most of them.
Yes, I had that mixed up. So the movie, he's a piece of shit. Like he's not doing anything right. And I was like, so that was why I was like, I don't really know, because I feel like they would have taken the idea from the poem. It just didn't feel like it landed the original source material, and when they did try to change, it didn't speak to me personally. I can see where other people might be able to look. I mean, other people clearly are, because the ratings are fantastic for most people,
I think
including
89
you.
on Rotten Tomatoes.
When I looked last, it was a 96. So, But yeah, most of the big critics are saying that this is a phenomenal movie. I'm sure it's going to win Oscars.
I don't think that.
I think it's going to get some. I don't think it's going to. It won't get Best Picture. I'm not saying that, but I think it'll get things like that. Cinematography, things like that. It's just it tried to do a lot of stuff visually and with body language, and I don't think that it necessarily got across the message to most people that it was trying to get across, whatever that message may be.
So to you, it could also be summarized into an incoherent disconnection with its audience.
Yes.
Yeah. And I can understand that completely. So the thing with David Lowery films as a whole is that a majority of his filmography, including A Ghost Story, which I felt was the second best movie of 2017, they're not movies that I would recommend, despite the fact that I love the hell out of them. He's a very slow, methodical filmmaker. He's a filmmaker who takes value in visuals over dialogue. He's a filmmaker who casts style, even when the style seems otherworldly, like it doesn't fit into the measures of the world that we've created here before us. It's fantastical. That's the thing I like about this film. Like, as you mentioned, the visuals are a spectacle in themselves. It's all elaborate. The cinematography is very close, and the cloth feels so detectable that you can almost reach out and grab it. The fur on the fox, the computer generated fox, which the design of the fox to me was a little iffy too. That's what I even mentioned that in my review. I said there's points of the CG in this movie where I feel like it just wasn't necessary.
$15 million movie. So
right. Which is one of the more ambitious A24 films to date too. Like their films are usually $5 million budgets. So to have a $15 million one, the studio was really behind this film.
Yeah.
And it's good because I feel like Lowery's vision feels consistent in every aspect of this movie. The sound, the score, the editing, everything feels like it came from his mind, because this is the kind of filmmaking we've been led to believe with his history. But yeah, I love, you mentioned a lot of the positives for me, the visuals, the acting. So I'm not going to get into that. Dev Patel, though, out of this world.
Fantastic.
The thing is, I've seen this kid perform a lot of great movies. Like obviously Slumdog Millionaire is one people will bring up, but an underrated gem to me is Lion, which came out in 2018.
Never got a chance to see that
movie. It was my number 10 film of that year. And I still feel like that's his best performance to date in Lion, because it's more emotionally gut wrenching. But this movie in here, it's his eyes. It's the way he communicates to the audience and conveys, fear, all these elements that you don't associate with knighthood. He conveys them in his eyes to the audience. And that to me, I felt was very chilling, and different for that perspective. The things I didn't like about the movie were, in the middle to me kind of sagged a little bit. That second act, when it first starts off and he meets not only the ghost, but right before they get, or no, it's right after he meets those kids in the woods that rob him. I feel like those scenes, there's a couple of scenes put in there that go on a little too long for my taste. I know that's Lowery's style, and that's what he loves to do. He loves soaking up as much of the dread in the atmosphere as possible. For my money, though, you could have cut it any one of those minutes. At that point, it becomes pretentious, and you're just leaving the camera on for the hell of it. So that's my problem with the movie overall. It's not very much, but it is what it is. But I feel like as far as the themes go of the movie, that's where I got the biggest reward, because, you had a disconnection to the movie, and I totally understand it. But you also stated that going into it, you skimmed the poem. You didn't really know much about the poem, though. And I understand that. So obviously there's going to be a big disconnect. I usually don't like in movies where you have to read something to get the point of a movie. I feel like they're two respective properties that should be held apart from one another. You should be able to get this without reading this. That's the way it is. I call it the Southland Tales rule. So to me, I don't usually support that kind of thing, but in this, you absolutely have to read this poem before you watch this movie. You have no chance at success if you have not done that. And if any critic out there who's saying that they love this movie and they got the themes and all that, and they've never read the poem, you are absolutely full of shit.
Well, if they wrote it in less words, then it was probably right.
Yes. And I'm sorry, I'm going on a long-winded diatribe here, and I'm going to wrap it up in a couple minutes.
Yeah, because I got a question.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm always intrigued by A24 movies, so this one is going on my list to see commented on a post count.
Jesus.
I just want to know if we hit the goal.
I'll check it out later. But that one wasn't at 9 anyway.
Damn it. I won us.
So if anything, it would be at 8.
I won us the trophy.
But so anyway, going on. Yeah, the themes to me though, and I don't want to spoil too much. So
Spoil the hell out of it.
Okay.
Our average listener is not seeing this movie anyway.
This movie can be summarized as being about the cycle of life. The Green Knight, in his coloring, you know, the fact that he has bushes and branches all making up the majority of his body, the fact that his sound when he moves, you can hear branches crunching and all that represents the growth that grows over a dead property or a dead person once they have deceased and decayed from this world. It becomes green. So him following and that inevitability of he's going to come back in a year and he's going to take back that strike that Gaiwan gave to him. That's the cycle of life that Gaiwan keeps running from, that he can never man up and face for himself. So Jesse mentioned earlier that, you know, in the poem, Gaiwan is this brave, noble knight who, you know, he goes through all of these challenges along the way. There's 5 of them during the book and the poem. And in the poem, he succeeds at every single one of them except the last one. He fails at the last one. In this movie, he fails at the first 4 of them. And then on the last one, the 5th one, he succeeds. What I like about that touch and that difference is that's more of a character arc to me. You have a flawed character to begin with. Not only is that a compelling look at a different side of knighthood as a whole that we never get in movies, but it's also rewarding to the narrative of a film. So if a character starts weak and then ends strong, I would rather have that than a character who starts strong and then ends weak. I feel like it's more rewarding in the long run because he's reached his knighthood by performing the bravest act of them all. And you know what that is. I'm not going to say what that is.
Sure.
By reaching the bravest act of them all. And that cycle of life, he's finally able to confront. And there's an argument about mortality in there that I'm not going to get into, but just many serious themes like that I feel like you can take a condensed film or a condensed production company like A24 and spin it into these universal themes that all of us face on a daily basis. I love that kind of thing. And that's why I'm such a big A24 fan. I'm usually not pretentious when it comes to companies. You've got people who love Disney. You've got people who love, you know, I don't know, Universal.
Bad Robot. Blumhouse.
Yeah. For me, it's A24 and it's Neon. Those are the 2 for me.
Neon's great.
Neon's fantastic, and it doesn't get enough credit. I also like Leica for animation, like the Box Trolls 9, all those that are like handcrafted claymation movies. Absolutely stellar to me. But yeah, A24 to me, it's done it again. And I understand why people like yourself would not like this movie at all, but I'm going to lay a prediction here. You're going to watch this movie again after you've read the poem, and you're going to get so much more from it than you did initially. I'm not saying you're going to be on my level of a 9 out of 10, but I'm saying I guarantee you give it a 7 out of 10 someday.
Could be. It's
what was your grade?
Will you watch The Burbs before?
I think I only gave it
watch The Burbs first, because do this guy a favor.
I only gave it a 5 or a 6.
5 or 6. Okay. 6 is good though. I mean,
that's my thing is I didn't hate it. It just didn't. It was very much like Midsummer for me.
Oh, yeah.
I went in with great expectation and
did it again, Chris.
And Midsummer just didn't live up to the script that I had read.
I still want to read that script. So
I have
bad.
it at home.
Oh, I got to borrow that.
Yeah,
I want to see what the differences are.
It was just more in depth and it showed more, and it was more visually appealing in terms of how things were described and stuff that they couldn't necessarily do on camera. But A24 almost always has something that is very much of a thinking movie. Even Hereditary, Midsummer, things that are horror movies that most people can go and enjoy. It's psychological. It's deeper than that. Hereditary is about family and disease within your family, like these mental things that are passed down to you and things like that.
That is incurable.
Yes. And
that's scary.
Fast and the Furious sequel?
That's not, no. That is not what most people go to see, though. It's not just a slasher. There's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Lighthouse is fucking weird as shit, but Lighthouse was my favorite movie of that year.
Me too.
This just didn't hit me like the Lighthouse did. Lighthouse, I at least felt like I got what they were going for. And it wasn't on the nose, but it left it open enough for me to be like, hell yeah, you know? But like,
can I tell you what a big difference is, I think, on that? You didn't have to read anything for the Lighthouse.
100%.
So to me, I feel like those themes that were going in the Lighthouse, and they're very deep and they're not on surface level. You have to dig deep for them. To me, you know those feelings. You've felt those feelings in your own life, that loneliness, that dread. You know what that's about.
Right.
Those are very relatable terms to you. That's not as presentable in The Green Knight.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted.
No, and that's a good point. But I think that's I don't like that. I don't like that I have to read something ahead of time because,
agree.
like you said, these are two different mediums. If you want to tell this story, that's fine. But you need to tell that story. I don't need to read something that's hundreds of years old in order for me to appreciate a movie that you're doing now. I should be able to take that and you should be able to hit me with the exact same stuff and put it to film in a way that nobody hundreds of years ago could have ever thought could have been done.
I'm never going to read the Star Wars books. There's fucking libraries of them. I am
million
never
of them.
going to pick up one book of the Star Wars, and I don't care.
Right.
I want to watch the movies. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
So you said a 5 or a 6. We'll say 5.
We'll say
5.5. Yeah, that's fair enough. It was a 9 out of 10 for me. Not my favorite A24 film to date. That's still The Lighthouse, but very close.
Such a huge difference in score. It's so interesting to me.
Well, that's
like literally half almost.
What are your top 5 A24 films? We'll say top 3.
Let me look and I'll get back to you. It's definitely Lighthouse is number 1.
Lighthouse is in mine. Ex Machina is in mine, and
Hereditary is probably up there.
I don't know if Hereditary is in my top 3, but it is good. I'd have to pull up a list of them too, but
great comedy.
I know that those two are definitely in there.
The last 10 minutes go ape shit off the walls, man.
Oh, 8th grade. 8th grade is in mine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mine goes, mine is definitely.
I'll have to get back to you on this.
8th grade, Ex Machina, Lighthouse for my top 3. Off the top of my head right now without looking at a list.
I always
of
thought that was
films.
I always thought that was Ex Machina.
Well, when I first did it too, and somebody corrected me.
It's Machina?
Yeah.
Machina.
So I said it somewhere, I can't remember where, and a group of people just laughed at me, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm a dumbass.
Yeah, I don't know why. Machina.
Ex Machina is like a thing where basically in a movie, something just kind of comes in and saves the day out of nowhere randomly. Like when Captain Marvel comes in and saves Tony for no reason without any explanation of how she fucking found them or anything, that's an Ex Machina.
Interesting.
Which I don't think makes sense for the movie, but I've never been able to figure out necessarily why that title is chosen.
I never looked up the definition of it. You actually just told me it, but now that I piece it together, I'm kind of wondering how that incorporates into the film.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to make sense. I'm assuming maybe he's the Ex Machina to her life, and that's what gets her free, but that's the only thing. And like The Green Knight, it feels like a fucking stretch.
So that's it for Hollywood Report, though.
2 questions.
Okay.
I want to do one Hollywood Report one, and then I've got a question for sports.
Okay.
Favorite actor and their favorite movie, and your favorite movie of theirs.
Favorite actor right now.
Your favorite actor and your favorite movie that they've done.
Tom Hardy, The Revenant.
It's so hard.
Or Locke is very underrated too, because it's a one-man show. Him in a car for 82 minutes.
Probably Leo. Probably The Departed.
Nice
pick.
Leo and Wolf.
Leo and Wolf.
Yeah.
Nice. Good pick.
You probably don't even know if you know this guy. Quinn Ewers. So he is the number 2 prospect in 2022 NFL draft.
Okay.
Most likely going to go. Well, no, not NFL draft.
College boy.
To go to Ohio State.
Oh, he just transferred.
And he's foregoing his senior year in high school to apply early.
I saw this story.
Smart move.
Can you do that?
He hasn't. I guess he must have enough credits to graduate early. So he's saying rather than play my senior year of football, or I'm not going to make any money or anything off my likeness, I'm going to just skip my senior year and go now, apply to Ohio State now.
Yeah, I think it's smart as fuck.
Yeah.
One, your name is already out there. You're allowed to market yourself going forward. And if he does well, he's going to do well in getting that money at Ohio State. I don't know much about how he plays. I mean, he's like the number 2 prospect, so I'm assuming that he's NFL bound as long as everything goes well.
Got to be solid.
I mean, he has to get into Ohio State to be able to get then drafted, right? Or can you
3 years?
You have to, he could just be like, I want to go to the NFL and then not play, but it's not going to happen. He's going to end up like a 5th round draft pick in 3 years, or he's going to be an unrestricted free agent in 3 years. But you can't just be like, I would like to join the NFL, because then you're going to get a team that's going to be like, hey, don't go into the draft. You don't want to play for the Jaguars. Come to the Patriots.
How long does he have to be in college to be able to be eligible, though?
3 years.
Is it 3 again?
Yeah.
I think it was dropped down to 2.
Because this says that he's the number 2 prospect in the 2022 class.
Because I know in
So
basketball,
wouldn't that mean for the NFL?
No, that's it could be his recruitment class. It might not be his draft
class as in the upcoming class, like they're coming in 2022.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I know basketball. It's 1.
I think it's 2 in football.
Man,
because you can be a superstar sophomore and go out your junior year if you play.
You could,
because most of the time it's redshirted juniors that go.
Mm-hmm. Wow, 2 years then.
I believe it's 2.
He's gone.
Which that I don't think would work out well for him, because if you're going to the college game at 17, you play your 18, 19, and then you go into the draft.
Yeah. Dude.
I don't know what position this kid plays, but I don't give a fuck how great you are. You are 19 years old. You're not even fully grown yet. You are not going to make it in the NFL. NFL is a game made for men that are 24 to 27 years old. Anything less than that, you are not going to be the greatest of all time. Anything older than that, you're going past your prime. That is the key.
Jesse makes a great point, because in the NBA, it's not as physical as the NFL. Mm-hmm. So like your body has not fully matured yet to the point, like physically, to where it could compete with these big mammoths like Myles Garrett or, Aaron Donald, so you're facing them. But if you go up against like a LeBron James or something like that, big guy, but LeBron James isn't knocking you down, like literally.
You can still always shoot. You can figure out other things that can work.
Right.
You cannot do that in the NFL. You can't become a 22 mile an hour running dude at 19 years old. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to be able to move a 350-pound man at 19 years old. Myles Garrett was massive. The pictures of him standing next to his offensive line in high school are crazy. And that dude would have gotten mauled in the NFL by a person like Joe Thomas. There's no way. So unless he's planning on making a living out of his college stuff and staying there at least until his junior year, I would say that it's a smart idea. But if he's planning on saying, I'm going early so that I can go to the NFL early, you better kiss your ass goodbye, because you're not going to make it.
I think I'm assuming that's his goal, but he said he wants to be able to profit off of himself, basically, and he's not going to do that in high school. So
if he's the number 2 prospect, I would assume he's a quarterback or a running back.
Quarterback.
Yeah.
I still wonder how that money thing is going to work in college this year. So like they're paying them now, right?
I believe you get a percentage of your own proceeds. So jersey sales, you can make money off your own likeness. So if he wanted to sign with Gatorade or something, he would be allowed to do so under the Ohio State name.
You get a percentage of your own jersey. Like they take.
It goes the same way for the NFL. You get a percentage of your own jersey in the NFL. And I don't think it's much. It's like 10-15%.
Then the university, you go out there and sell it then. Okay.
Yeah.
I got to go on the street and sell this thing myself.
Well, no. I think that if the university, like the team shop, if they sell a Jesse Young jersey, I'm getting 10% of those profits. But the big money isn't that. The big money for these guys is the fact that they can market themselves. If I'm a marketable dude, a Baker Mayfield personality, or, Honey Badger back in the day, or a fucking Reggie Bush, or some of these superstar guys, those guys are going to make it on a Wheaties box when they're 19 years old, 20 years old, and they're going to make a ton of money.
Well, they don't have this jersey, though.
No, bunch of bums, bro.
This one's a one of a kind.
So you're wearing the good old Nicholas Chubb's number?
Yeah, yes, I am.
That's exactly what it was, right?
That's why I did it.
All right, gents. Anything else for the good of the show?
No.
No. Good luck, Ryan, Friday.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Ryan.
See how
Friday.
my week goes next week.
Choke.
Thanks for tuning in, y'all. That is Made to Motivate podcast. Make sure you tune into the show every week. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell on YouTube so you know when the new videos launch. And check out our pages individually if you can. We appreciate the support. At Jesse Young SI on Twitter. Chris the Film Freak Kessinger. Check out the Film Freak Review page on Facebook. And I am Ryan Weiss. You can check out rockeverywhereinc.etsy.com to follow my art and apparel page. We appreciate the support. And, of course, at Made to Motivate podcast on all social media sites. Thanks again, and we'll check you next week.